welcome back. Well, welcome. We'll introduce the new guy here in a little bit. New guy, but welcome back to the crew, the people watching, the people listening. We love you. We're back. We're delayed a little bit. Don't worry about why. Yeah, we're here. Yeah, we'll fix this camera. Don't worry about that. Yeah, we're gonna do an episode solely about raid tests. We all raid tested. We all full cleared all the betas. I don't know how many times. I think Joardee did the most. Joardee just fucking absolutely lived in there. It was crazy. We all got at least 3-4 clears under us, a full clearing. A majority of us did it on private servers too, so we'll be able to compare a little bit of it. We're gonna go over the intros. We'll do some spotlight stuff for the guests, and then we're gonna go over just some bugs, the release date we heard about, some stuff, the typical WoW news that we would talk about with Classic, and then we're gonna go into just our thoughts on the raid testing. I tried to make sure Sarthe and I both tried to make sure we had somebody here to speak about all the roles. Like I'm playing the casters. Rugs is fucking Rugs. You already know. Joardee's healing. Zirene is the big tank, and Sarthe is Sarthe doing the physical stuff. So I hope we got a good little cast here. You guys can put, if you're watching it live on Twitch, you know that just comments. I mean, I'm not talking that much because I'm waiting for the questions. I write them down. I'll ask them when the time comes. And if you're listening to this on YouTube or the podcast sites, because this will be the first episode finally up, we love you guys. And if you ever hear us, if you're ever wondering like who are they getting these questions from, it's live on Twitch, which is in a link, which will be in the description of everything, and also now in the chat. Other than that, let's get it. Sarthe, my man, my brother, Light Skin Gang, how you doing?
What up, dude? Dude, I'm doing well, man. I'm having so much fun playing Wrath of the Lich King. Every physical DPS class is ridiculously fun. So this has been a blast. And also seeing how every class is really like panning out compared to expectations, and like going through a ton of vlogs. I'm doing great, man. I'm excited for this episode. Good.
Joardee, my brother, my man.
I'm good, man. Yeah, beta's fun. It's a little sad the raids are closed, but I think we all got a lot of time in and have a good sense of the way things will look come phase 1, right? There's definitely some dark horses, and but I think healer-wise, everything's feeling exactly the same as we expected. So,
okay. Yeah, and
I'm good. Otherwise, life's busy.
You're looking gorgeous, bro.
Crazy. I got a haircut. Thank you.
You're looking gorgeous, bro. Gorgeous. Rugs. That shirt, bro. I love it. How are you doing, my man?
Thank you, dude.
Welcome back.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. Beta's been a ton of fun. I think I have some sort of brain rot because I can't stop doing tier 7. I can't get away from it. I've done it so many times, and I still think it's fun. And it's like been the most fresh experience doing it on beta with everyone. It's been really, really, really enjoyable. Really getting to like push the limits here, and having good quality logs for the first time ever is, and even these logs are kind of like halfway broken too, but it's been really a big treat. Been having a blast, man. I'm doing well.
Good, brother. Zirene, my man. I love you, dog.
Yo.
Love the Snow Me podcast. I reached out we were in the group chat, and I was like, yo, we got to find a tank to come here. And Joardee was like, Zirene. I was like, ooh, I know him from Snow Me's podcast. I was like, all right. And I just had watched the last, was that the last episode of it too, my friend?
Next one is last episode.
Oh man, I love that podcast.
Snow's moving on. He's doing other things, you know.
Yeah, he's doing some big stuff too. It's kind of cool what he plans on doing.
Smart man.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, we're all trapped here still, so.
Yeah, so everybody here has been here before besides you. If you want to talk about what you're playing, what class you're playing, the typical stuff. You've been here. You've been in podcasts before.
Yeah. So I guess in classic WoW in vanilla, I played a main tank Fury Prot Warrior. I played a Rogue, and then I played a Paladin. And I played kind of 2 of almost each of those classes, save for the Rogue. In TBC, I play 4 Prot Paladins, a Prot Warrior, a Rogue, and a Resto Shaman. So I raid 7 days a week. And in Wrath of the Lich King, I plan to play 1 of every tank and then double up on the ones that I think actually perform well. So currently leveling my Feral Druid. I'm going to be playing Prot Warrior, Prot Paladin, Blood/Frost DK hybrid that I want to test out and see. Until later phases, I think Blood will definitely be better later. And then my Rogue, because they gave me glaives, so I'm like obligated to play Rogue for them in Wrath of the Lich King at this point. And even though it's not like, the best of my guilds. So yeah, I basically have always just loved speedrunning. It's the way to kind of make a easy game more challenging by just kind of putting arbitrary trash requirements on everything you do that you can't skip it, and working within those confines. That's what I really like about speedrunning.
It's not totally arbitrary.
Not all of them are, but some of them are, and then you have to pre-clear. So that's the thing I'm always just upset about, is the pre-clear. TBC pre-clearing is just...
TBC raids are just so set up for pre-clearing. It's unfortunate, you know? It's like in an annoying way.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, ever since Noobs tried that Naxx shenanigans where they like brought a bunch of mobs in and then started the logs, like partway through the poll, it was kind of like, wait a second, what are people allowed to do? You don't have to start it right on time. It's like, yeah, you can come in.
This
start
guy's
them later.
not in combat. Yeah.
Did you guys see how they added that without trash skips and with trash skips to the logs?
Nobody checks.
Does that matter? I just new? Am I tripping and I just never seen this? Or
nobody checks with trash skips. Nobody checks with trash skips ever. Like, that's like those logs will typically be faster. You'll find somebody who might have a faster time, right?
Yeah.
But trash is kind of the thing that it's like the great equalizer that makes it so that you don't have everybody in the raid required to do all this stupid shit that happens in the first day, where it's like, everybody in Vizpot, we're skipping like as much as we can. Everybody, no much cloaking device, we're skipping as much as we can, right? Like, that's the thing that I think Warcraft Logs wants to avoid, because they want to make speedrunning more accessible for the player who doesn't actually go completely balls to the wall, and they can still make like top 50 if you just have clean runs, good runs. So yeah, I think nobody really actually checks with trash skips, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah,
cares about
I
those
think
rankings?
trash realistically is like what makes a speed run, because it's usually the hardest part, and it's like takes the longest of any raid. So figuring out ways to deal with it is always what makes like the crazy like moments.
Okay.
Yeah, it really does.
And it's convenient timing that you brought up speedrunning, because that's what I want to talk about briefly before we get into the Lich King talk. Is usually starts into the big speedrunning world, and he's the one who keeps up. And Joardee, obviously, everyone here is. So if you want to talk a little bit, Sarthe, what's anything going on? Anybody can talk about it in the community. What's going on with some new runs? I know we got some crazy times going on, bro. You want to go ahead and touch on it, my man?
This has been honestly one of the most fun weeks, because right now everyone is beating everyone. Space Force went in and did a time that was like kind of like shattering everyone else's, and that was finally NA was up top. Now Noobs is back on top, China #1, and then this week at the same time None of the Above and Progress were going, and they ended up both being like within like a few seconds of the world record. Progress actually was ahead until Kill Jaden. It's like so tight right now. They were ahead, and then like there were deaths, and they're literally going right now. So like right now is a really hype time, because it's almost the end of TBC, and a lot of these runs are going, and they're very, very, very close. So it's really competitive.
Zirene, Joardee, you guys want to touch on speedrun a little bit?
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's so funny because like I have like multiple runs that have been in like top 10 before, and it's so funny because after the run, they'll be like, so when we get in our Sarthe review, and then somebody's like, I'll ask him, like, no, it has to be a natty. He has to come up with it himself. He has to want to do it. It's so funny. Like, getting a Sarthe review is actually becoming more and more of like a thing that the speedrunners are like, when's he gonna do it, man? Is he gonna come to ours? And then like somebody beats our time, and we're like, now he's not gonna watch it, dude. Now he's not gonna look at it.
I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah, you've definitely carved yourself out as a speedrunning guy, and I love it. Joardee,
hopefully Blizzard does something official with it.
What's the speedrun? How you guys?
They're not going to, but we're good. I think we're done. We didn't get our sub 40, which is a major bummer, but I think everyone's just focused on beta. So
yeah,
I think I looked earlier. We're still in A1 Alliance.
No way.
Welcome Smack. Welcome Smack.
NA #1 Alliance. Yes, I think
maybe
so.
Alliance. Who cares about Alliance though?
Who
cares about NA? Honestly, it's like when you're in the top 50, it's just about world ranking. No one cares about any of that shit. You can clout farm and say you're NA1, but whatever.
That's for recruiting purposes. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point. But yeah, I mean, we had a pretty great TBC. I think as a guild, we did a lot better than we did in vanilla. Our phase 2 was really good. I think we were like world 4th and 5th respectively on the other two. And BT, we did not do well. We just couldn't get a run together. And then somehow we did fine, but
You guys
you
in
know.
phase 2 were the only guild in like the top 100 that was using a prot warrior, right? Instead of double barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like,
yeah.
"These
Player
guys
over
are-"
class, man.
I was like,
I
I thought that was grief, just personally. I was like,
Yeah, well, we also were the only guild that did the reverse route that everybody
True.
else, because we went, we started at Morgrim and went backwards, and most everybody, I think we did that. I can't remember, whatever.
you guys didn't start at Lurker.
No,
Right.
we did
Yeah.
for the first few runs, but then
Yeah.
we decided, we really like the flashiness of the rocket boot, levitate, whatever,
Into there,
parachute
yeah.
cloak,
Yeah,
which was fun. And so, I mean, I really liked phase 2 because there were a lot of routes in SSC at least that you could fuck around with. Whereas I don't think there was a lot of evolution in routes in any of the other instances. So
It's pretty
whatever.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
TBC's been a blast for speedrunning. Is it better than vanilla? I don't know. It's your opinion. I miss world buffs, but it's been fun, and the community seems to still really enjoy it. So, which has been good.
Miss world buffs, don't miss getting them. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the stakes. Like somebody dies. It's
Totally.
worth something, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
It also incentivizes people playing better, right? Because like you can zug super hard and be like, oh, someone will heal me, but you won't risk that if you might die and then your entire.
Vesuvius was the scariest fight ever, man.
Yeah,
Every
and I was
week-
a priest, and so I had the whole raid in my hands, right?
It
And so it's
incentivizes
like-
people to play better, but also get angrier. Like when they die, like somebody's
Totally.
just like, the whites are griefing again, man. Like the priest, we gotta no these guys every week. No, don't hold me back, man. I lost my world buffs. I spent 12 hours getting these things. I didn't play all week, and then you die in the
Totally.
first like encounter. It's just,
Well, I like that it
so unfair
commits
with that
you.
stuff.
It commits you to the poll too. Like
Mhm.
you have your world buffs and you're going. You don't just like go into trash. Oh, someone dies. Let's reset. Start over. Like that shit is infuriating.
Totally.
Yeah.
Unless your progress when Tetsu blew up the raid on the AQ40 start, or not Tetsu, but we
Damn
watched
boy,
Tetsu
he's
do it,
back.
so, yeah, exactly. That was
Damn
pretty
boy,
awesome.
that was great.
Hey, sometimes those wipes like launch you to stardom
Totally.
and stuff, man. Like I'm thinking of the first time I saw Prefox was when he got double killed in AQ40, where he just got killed by the mob that blows up and makes the little mobs on it, and then Mytos is just leaning into him, just like, man, I did get away. He gets rezzed, runs in, mob knocks him up, he flies across the wall, lands in like the back corner dead. It's just like people are like, oh, runs over, man, runs over. Everybody
my
wanted to see
God.
Prefox's like reaction to that, and I think that's
Yeah.
like really what put him on the map.
I think there's a lot of that in speedruns too, where it's like that watching people fail is fun. I mean,
It's a train
the
crash,
clip
man.
the
It's a
clip
train.
of Sarthe missing the jump twice in a row is like the most
Twice.
That
shared.
wasn't a
And,
speedrun,
like-
though. That
and, like-
wasn't a... Imagine
It wasn't a
happening in
speedrun, but I'm just
speedrun,
saying,
but
like,
that's gonna
people
be
love
infamous.
that type of
dude.
shit,
Dude.
right? And so
Dude.
it's like,
Speedrun, it
Sometimes-
probably wouldn't happen because we're all gonna have a rocket boot. We all have nitros, right?
Yeah.
We're not gonna have. We don't have
Yeah.
nitros.
I'm gonna
in the
find
beta.
a way, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way.
Don't. It'd be
Sometimes
hilarious.
sometimes I'll like look at my clips and I'll be like, man, that was like a good run, and I'll like check my clips from like the last week or something like that, and nobody's clipping the good shit. It's like
No,
they
never.
as
do,
soon as
bro.
like you're doing like the paladin bubble and BT to like pull everything to the side and skip it, and then one person's a little late, that thing gets clipped, shipped, dude. Like I think like my top clip in the last like 3 months is when one of our warriors accidentally taunted the elemental at the end of the BT fight with Illidan.
Oh, I saw
right
that.
as it
I
was
remember
dying.
that.
Exactly. Like everybody saw that. They were like, dude, people were like, I forgot where Rendbot came from. I forgot what guild he came from, but they were like, he's a sleeper agent. It's like he was paid the whole time. It's like you got double.
Oh my
He came in
God.
with like double glaives from another guild, so everybody was like, oh, it's too good to be true. So people were like calling him a sleeper agent and stuff. So
Wait.
those are the ones that get clipped though. Those are the ones
Just wait.
people like. They like
Just
watching the
wait.
train wreck.
Oh, twice.
I just don't jump. I
why
literally
aren't you
decided to.
jumping?
I don't know why I
Where's the
decided.
space bar.
I decided to shoot instead of jump, man. What,
Man,
guys?
man,
I have
you
a
can do
cast
No
both.
on.
aspect.
I have a cast on. Okay.
No disengage.
Ooh, the first like you even took an angle on
Broken.
that one too.
Yeah, it makes
I
no
will always
sense.
be
I
straight on
literally,
those.
if you had the comms on, I literally, I'm fucking terrible at this game. I quit. I was like, that was the worst thing I've ever done. I quit.
It was fun being in the raid with you.
It
Like
was.
we were all in that raid together and just getting.
I hope nobody saw it, and then you just hear Joardee. Did you fail again?
Oh no.
That was good. I didn't know you did it twice until I saw the clip. And as soon as I heard in comms that you fell, I was like, oh, that's gonna be clipped. And you're like, that's gonna be clipped everywhere. And then like the next immediate classic highlights, you were on it. I was like,
well, I mean, hopefully
so
you got that out of the way, and now you don't have it for the rest of.
He's got.
I'm so glad you failed it because I actually failed that one too. That was our first Thaddeus, and apparently everyone in Fusion does red is right or right is red.
Yeah,
I was
and like that's so messed up. And so I'm like in there like trying to like co-raid lead, just kind of like do well, and it broke my brain. I couldn't do it. I failed. And meanwhile, Sarthe behind me like missed the jump twice, so he took all of the all the fame. So like no one knew.
So many people in my chat when Rugs fell was like, is that Rugs like private server Rugs? I'm like,
oh
god.
I
was like, yeah.
No. It's a fan, just a fan. Like, God, dude, when I was about to say like, where did this come from? Because every time I'm like in my chat, people are like, no, red right, and I'm like,
it's a Baron thing.
People are like, is that an NA thing? Is that EU thing? Is that private server thing? Because I'm always positive portal. I'm positive portal, right? Positive goes towards the portal, right? And if you're negative, you go left. Right? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he played, on all the old private servers, Northdale, all that. So maybe that's where it came from. But he's been red right since I've known him. So,
dude, and here's the thing: is like people in my chat will be like, "It's always been red right." I'm like, bro,
yeah.
I'm in so many guilds. And in Classic, I ain't never heard red right. Like, I ain't never heard that. All positive portal. That was like when it became that. That's what it was. Now, I hate it, dude. I played with one guild on beta that was like red right, and I was like, I was broken. Like just like you, Rugs. I was like, I actually was like, like I was like fighting my muscle memory whenever I look at my buff.
I just went. I was like, did you say red right? And Joardee's like, yes. I was like, all right, one more time. Red right? He's like, yes. I was like, all right, then it's in your brain.
I just started saying it
yes,
over
it
and
is
over
the
again.
other way at the same time.
Yeah.
You don't know.
The
negative boss positive tattooed on me, dude.
Someone said, Lord said, the keyboard literally in order goes minus positive. Negative,
I'm telling you, it's
positive,
red right
whatever.
in our guild at least.
It's gonna be confusing with all the alts that we have.
The scariest thing was doing
is.
the Undying run we did in 10-man and thinking for 1 second that you were on the wrong side and you're about to fuck the whole run.
Yeah.
Is like my head
like
exploded. I was like, holy fuck, and then I was like, oh no, I'm on the right side. It's fine.
That's gonna be that's how people will die for.
There will be a lot of
25-man Undyings,
immortals and stuff.
I definitely killed like 3 people on one of the runs, not paying attention. I got carried away by the Destro pump once, and next thing you know, I got positive. And I was like, oh.
And it sucks losing anybody on that fight because each buff is a % of damage increase, right? And his health pool is, I would argue, too big.
Yeah.
And so losing any of that really sucks.
So Rugs, you and I weren't, we just kind of got adopted into the classic scene. We didn't play much classic. Are you excited to speedrun in the future?
Dude, absolutely. I mean,
me too. I can't wait.
Look, man, we're DPS brains, me and you. We're parsers. We like to look at logs. I want to see, the pretty shiny number next to my name after I've had a really good raid. Like, that's what I care about, you know? We've never had that in the peace server scene. So that's why we're here, dude.
I can't wait. I'm really excited too.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. Like, just telling you guys straight up, it's so much fun. My favorite thing about playing a DPSer is as you get faster, having to remap your cooldowns where you're like, okay, I death wish this pack and it'll be up in time for this one. And then you have a run where you're going a little too fast. You're going faster and beating yourself. And you're like, shit, it's not up. And you have to go back to the drawing board to remap your cooldown. I remember there was one time in one of my Rain Naxx speedruns where I was challenging shouting one pack. And then it would be up for a time where I was getting bop chowed after Lotheb so that we could bring all these mobs in and not have to worry about damage. And it was not up for like 4 seconds. And they bought me. I run in. I go, oh, shit. Like, the mobs are on. They're running all over the place. I'm like, shit, it's not up, guys. That stuff, like, actually, and everybody has world buffs, too, so everybody's freaking out. So I love those moments where you have to like, you think you know how to do it the entire time, it's scripted, and then you just get a little too fast and things aren't off cooldown. I actually love when that happens. I just, for some reason,
Recalculating
it's a
on the
brain
fly,
teaser.
yeah,
Yeah.
is really hard, and if you can do it well, it's just like it's the sign of a really good speedrunner. And like, there's a lot of things that you just don't think about in a normal run that you are thinking about, just like going into a fight with half of your mana, and it's like, okay, can I do this? Like, is this going to be tenable, or should I sit and drink and forego the first 10 seconds? And a lot of like calculated risks you have to take, and you know, there's a ton of like minute like mechanics that you might have to do on a speed run that you don't have to do on a normal run, like, you know, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I highly recommend people push speedruns, even if you're not getting like a top 50 time. Just like set a goal as a guild to be like, we want to speed run, we want to see how it goes. And when you do get that, like, you know, I know a lot of people are just like, okay, we're just doing a wipeless Sunwell. Like, that's a pretty good time if you don't wipe in Sunwell. And so like, go for that, see what you can do, and like, it's a bug that you'll catch and everybody will love it.
Yeah, everybody will get really excited.
I've been having a lot of fun with the like setup for these raids. So take it from me, I'm a Feral Druid in TBC. The last thing I want to do is have to tank. I want to stay cap form as long as possible.
God, don't remind
Let's
me.
figure out a way to 2-tank or solo tank every fight. So this same mentality is being taken into Wrath. Like, what can we do to drop healers? Can we solo heal, duo heal? Hell, can we 0 heal a fight? Can we solo tank a fight? That is what I'm thinking of. And so when it comes to like speed running or just overall pace, I think that's fun, and it's inviting for everyone, because there are healers out there who on farm content are bored out of their damn mind. And like, this gives them something to look forward to. I hope, I mean, I know healers at the end of the day, they want to heal, but I hope that they get excited about the fact that we can drop healers, and if they're one of the ones who are being dropped, they can off-spec DPS and actually like provide like added pace for the raid. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah. What do you have right now for like your tank healer split for Naxx? What do you think it's going to be? I think it's 2-4.
I think it's safe to say 2-4 for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I've already like Zirene, you were there. We 3-healed Naxx.
Yeah,
we 3-healed the whole thing.
Except for Patchwork, that was
we 4-healed Patchwork. It was the only boss that we 4-healed, and so knowing that, I think the limits are already going to get pushed to 2-heal really, really quickly, and in fact like a solo heal before we know it.
You think it's going to be double HPAL or HPAL disc?
It depends on the guild. I think HPAL disc is probably better for overall fights, and at least you maintain having a PI and at least some type of revitalize with how Rapture works. So it gives you something.
I'm so scared, dude. Patchwork's hatefuls are 30k.
Dude, he's hitting so hard.
They're 30k. You have to top that person within like
with
the next
some
second,
gear,
and then,
like people aren't geared.
I mean, if you use a blood decay, it hits for 20k. So that's like that's the plus side.
So before we get too far into that, I want to touch on one more thing, which is release date. How do you guys? We got a release date finally, boys. We kind of knew it because they kind of leaked it a week or two ago. How are you guys feeling about that? The timing of that.
What are they doing
touch
lately,
on that
man?
and pre-patch. What do we have the thoughts about? Is this too soon? Is this expected? Kind of. I mean, I would say pre-patch is less than a month, right? At least a month. I mean, give us the window. Like, what do you guys think?
I mean, I'm glad they gave us warning this time. Like, people can actually take off work and stuff like that. And like, my friends like, or our GM's like, get that PTO ready. Just get ready to take some time off if you guys are in the hardcore raids. So,
but the crazy thing is,
they're giving us heads up, man, and it's adequate heads up. It ain't 2 weeks. It ain't arena season ending, boys. Here we go. Like, even 4 weeks out. 2 months, I think, is actually
that's some retail heads up right there.
Really
boys.
good. Yeah, that's actually good. So I think that's an improvement there. So I want to give props where it's due. Pre-patch wise, they ain't fucking telling us. Just like
it's gonna be like halfway through the week, and they're gonna be like, oh, by the way, it's next week.
They haven't even said when the arena season's ending. The arena season's gonna end 2 weeks before pre-patch, potentially, or they're gonna give us warning 2 weeks before arena season ends, which might be the release of pre-patch, right? So
it's 2 weeks, not 1 week.
I think they give 2 week warning that it's going to end,
season,
right?
usually.
So if they tell us today that arena season's ending, they aren't going to go, it's ending next week. They'll give us 2 resets. So they've given us 10 days in the past, I think, right?
They should announce it either nowish or A week from now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
because we already got the experience buff, right? That
Yeah.
thing's in.
Yeah.
I think it's like them saying arena season's going to end is going to happen sometime in like the next week or two, is what I think. Because I think they're going for like a 6-week pre-patch, maybe 4, but
Do you guys think that
something between then.
it's too soon, or do you like that release date?
Oh, I mean, they obviously have a bunch of things to fix on the beta. They're like legit, like fixing random stuff, I think. But I'm happy with the release date. I think that it's given us enough time with Sunwell, and hopefully they give us enough time with the pre-patch that like we realistically can have a few like raid lockouts on our death knights and stuff for fresh characters. And then also the release date, the hypest thing is we should have Brewfest. We should have Brewfest, which means we get free trinkets within like the first like week or two. And Darkmoon Fair is like the second week.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Or the
pretty
first
sure like
week.
the Brewfest trinkets are literally bis for tanks until the end of the game. There's like nothing better until right near the end, correct? Like stamina wise.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Brewfest trinkets are right now, where it's like, yeah, it's like a Dark Moon card, but like with a better active.
But
so
better,
you can
yeah.
you hold on to that thing until you get commendation. Like, yeah. So I'm a little bit like, I know I'm gonna have to do it a bunch, which is good, but it seems
well,
it
it's
seems
not
a little
too
early.
hard.
That's the thing. I'm kind of like, it's a little early, right?
Pause real quick. There's a poll on the top left screen. Do you like the September 26th release? You just type 1 for absolutely, 2 for not too soon, and 3 for I don't care, and it'll auto update while you talk. Sorry. Continue.
I was just saying, I don't think that they're going to give us the trinkets with Brewfest.
You don't
I
think
think
so?
they're actually going to gate it. Yeah, I don't think they'll give us
Ah.
anything because it's going to come too soon in terms of the progression of the server. Giving us those high-level trinkets and even like the dagger and mace that come from Brewfest, I think it's too early.
What did they do that with in TBC? They did that with one of the events.
Yeah, something. Was it the like ice event? The
the summer event.
Yeah, they didn't
They-
give us
they
Death Frost.
Yeah. And
okay.
it came
Time.
out. It came out right as TBC came out, right? And so
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're probably right then.
They might do that.
I'm surprised they're even paying attention, but if they do it, that would make the most sense to not give us the trinkets.
Yeah. They also did that with Dark Moon cards weren't released until later too, right? Which I think was just part of the way the game was.
Because if they do it now, I think
Yeah.
Darkmoon cards would be like right away, right away. We would have to go and get them ready for the Darkmoon Fair like first like week.
Is there a phase that Dark Moon cards came out again? Or were
They should be out. They should be out
Oh, wow.
instantly, but like I think it would be you would miss either way. You have to get up fast or like have to get everything ready to get them right away. The first set of Darkmoon card greatnesses are going to be so expensive.
I'm
Oh my
so glad
God.
I'm not maining a physical
man.
DPS.
Imagine
my
the people
God.
like Sarthe and Rugs who have maining multiple.
Yeah.
Good thing he has a lot of GDKPs though. Sarthe, I know Sarthe does. Rugs, you're not all GDKP'd out, are you? You just
Nah, man, both of my 70s are in guilds, so we'll have to figure it out somehow.
Swiper, no swipey. You know what I mean?
I think I know a guy.
What about
Joardee
pre-patch,
over here.
guys? What are you guys gonna be doing on pre-patch? Joardee, what do you, I know. Well, hey, I know what Jordee's doing. You're leveling a DK.
I'm leveling a DK with Crix, maybe healing or some other people. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be fun. If you're not leveling a DK, you're just wasting your time. You should be leveling a DK
Yeah.
in pre-patch. It's really fucking fun. There's no point in not having one. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the starting zone day one, but it's gonna be fun. So
Yeah, that's gonna suck. It's
Yeah.
gonna be terrible, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of
Okay.
people are going to be like changing guilds or changing classes or all that. So definitely use this time between now and launch to like get your stuff squared away and maybe use your characters to GDP or something, stock up some gold. I know everyone's like, how much gold are you going into Wrath with? And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Just go, like just have what you have and have fun. And I'm also really enjoying TBC. Like I spent a lot of time on my characters to get them where they are, and I fucking love playing my hunter. And
yes, dude.
Your hunter pumps, dog.
yeah, I beat Crix every week, so it's been a lot of fun.
Your hunter, on single target damage he's talking about, not overall, but he's a hunter, so I can't fault him for the overall as a hunter.
No, but
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun, and I do want to speedrun more, but I think we're done. So I'll be focusing on like boss guides and all that shit. So yeah.
Wiped here.
Yo, your boss guides for Sunwell were like the fire. I remember that.
Yeah, now the expectations are high, so I gotta keep it going.
They're beautiful. You got to keep going. You see what's good. You see about doing them. You see how important it is, right? It's fucking good, bro. You're doing amazing.
Thanks,
Zirene, what are you doing for pre-patch, my friend? Like DK as well, I assume. Obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna be leveling a DK, like I said, Frost or Blood. Like I said, probably hybriding those two. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing with my other characters. I'll probably finish my Feral Druid and just have that thing ready. So I'm probably leveling those two characters, Feral Druid and DK. I might try to just finish the Feral Druid first and then do the DK because I don't want to be like in the starting area for DK.
That's a good idea.
So it's something I'm like trying to avoid.
I thought you were a Prot Warrior enthusiast.
I am. But here's the thing, right? Is like I'm a Prot Warrior enthusiast, but for Wrath of the Lich King. But at the same time, I'm not a dumbass, so I want to not pigeonhole myself, right? So I'm doubling down here, but I'm being very T-shaped with this, right? Like this is my Prot Warrior down the middle. I think it'll be fine, but I'm gonna actually have everything else too.
Okay.
So yeah, like I am going to level 1 to 2 of my Paladins, a Feral Druid, a DK, and then the Warrior, right?
What's first?
I have to level the Prot Paladin first. As per my guild, I play 4 Prot Paladins, so they're just like you're the guy. Yeah. So I have to like level that first for raids and stuff, and like nobody else really touches Prot Paladin. This is the kind of sad thing is when people play Prot Paladin in Rain, I feel really bad for them because if they fuck up, immediately people say like, just think what would Zirene do? Like they immediately compared to me, and I actually hate that. And like I want to help the person. I actually hate that because it drives some people away from the class wanting to play it with us when I will work with them, but they just get a lot of shit. Like tanks in general get a lot of shit when they mess up. And then it just comes down this thing where it's like that actually harms my relationship with other tanks when they're constantly like compared. And I think that thing is kind of shitty. So don't do that. Please don't do that. I hate
Prot is going to be so much more fun. Have you been doing it on the beta?
Yeah. It's broken on beta a little bit, but it is still very, very, very good. I think that Prot Pallies have a lot of... God, when I look at Prot Pally, I sit there and I go, if I was with a Blood DK and this encounter hit really hard, it wouldn't hit hard at all. Like the Blood DK would absorb so much damage. I could rotate Hands of Sack. I can use my Divine Guardian. Like there's so many things that you can do as a Prot Paladin to mitigate raid-wide damage. You make like the best AoE and trash tank currently for like harder content. You can actually be like the best backup tank. Because normally backup tank on a fight has always just been, man, I'm hitting this thing with my one-hander, pull out the Annihilator, like, let's just hope this thing procs, man. Now it's like you actually can call cooldowns, and you're not doing much else besides that, so you can manage the other Paladins' cooldowns too, and say like, hey, Hand of Sack him, hey, after that's done, you're going to go next, right? So it's a lot easier to have that type of role as a Prot Paladin.
Yeah. That's exciting, dude. I don't know. Tanking gets even more fun, I think, in Wrath. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the weird things is like when everybody's looking for group now, it's like there are no healers. Like everybody's playing DPS, everybody's playing tanks, and then it's like impossible to find healers. And if you do find a healer, it's an HPAL because people are trying it out, obviously. So it's hard for me to get a grasp on like how good things like Revitalize are from like a Resto Druid, or where like Resto Shaman stand, because there's people playing Resto Shaman, but I don't think I've run into like a really good Resto Shaman. And one of my P server friends, Fark, is saying that like Resto Shamans are like the 3rd best healer behind Disc and HPAL. But like everybody just sucks at like Riptide uptime and like keeping control of or choosing between their different heals for the right situation. Because you have Chain Heal, you have Healing Wave, right? You have all these different things that are going to benefit a lot based on that, like Riptide and using them afterwards. But yeah, he's kind of in the same boat where he's like, I just haven't run into a good one. But yeah, everybody's playing tank because tanks are fun. So I don't think you're gonna have any trouble getting tanks for groups. I think it's gonna be the healer angle. So
sorry,
Joardee, you start selling healing services. You know?
No, I think that if you're trying to get into like a GDKP, like definitely a healer is like a great idea. There will be a lot of people who are playing DK that are gonna buy gear that you can heal them, and you know that's a good.
Yeah,
it's a good play.
The billions of DKs that spawn.
Just a moment on your shaman point.
Yeah.
I don't know if we played with a great Resto Shaman on the beta. I know Ruzi was saying how much he wasn't enjoying it, but the meters were generally like the Holy Paladin, and then they were fighting. If the second Holy Paladin was there, they were fighting over Seal of Light, which is really fucking cringe.
It's another healer.
And-
It's another healer in the
Yeah.
fight. It's insane.
And then the Disc Priest or the Holy Priest was doing really well, and then the Resto Druid, and then the Shaman. So I think our question that we're still trying to debate is, do you bring that Shaman or do you bring a Holy Priest as the extra? And so there's a lot of...
Is that like, are you doing disc double HPAL or disc HPAL and finding a third?
Well, if you do one the second Holy Paladin loses a lot of oomph because of the Seal of Light fighting, right? And so it's like, are you better off bringing the second Priest and not the second Holy Paladin? If you're 5 healing, I would honestly say drop the Shaman and bring 2 Paladins, 2 Priests, and the Resto Druid. But if you're 4 healing, it's kind of gets fudgy.
I guess for me, I would bring double Paladin because I don't think Ret is in a very good spot for overall damage. And
do you not bring Ret at all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
wouldn't
not in
bring
25.
Ret at all.
We're
Not in
bringing a
25.
Ret, so
Yeah.
that's a consideration.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're not bringing Ret, you definitely need that second Holy Paladin.
Yeah.
It's tough to like figure out how to optimize it because we could optimize the hell out of phase 1 and all of
It's
it could be completely useless because Old War is going to be like 50 times harder than Naxx Ram is.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's almost like pointless.
That's why I like it in a well, pointless, I guess, to some degree in the grand scheme of things. But for me, it's like I like looking at the here and now and the optimizations I can make. So for me, Naxx 25 man is going to look very different than optimizing Old War, right? Because
Definitely.
of just the difficulty. And that's why I'm like so up good on Prot Warrior in general, is I'm just like, I think that for Naxx, they're your boys. I think that as it goes on, you're going to drop them, right? I don't think you're going to keep them the entire time.
The problem is I would optimize with you on that, but I wouldn't want to have someone drop out of the raid or play a different class just for this phase. I'll have them off spec to optimize further.
There's the guild part of it, right? Where you want to bring the people you're going to bring for the game. And so
this is also why like I'm playing all 4 tanks, because what'll happen is I'm playing Prot Warrior in the speedrun every week. When Old War comes out, they put my Prot Warrior in raid 3 and then they bring my Paladin up to raid 1. Like that's actually what we do, right? So for
Sarthe just died to a fucking slime. It's so good.
Did
did
he
Sarthe
really?
die to a slime?
Oh,
Dude,
I was
here's the
typing.
thing.
You-
Everybody
yeah, I was
goes an entire
typing.
WoW career, and if you die once to the slime,
No, I was like on
It's
auto
over.
run and typing
Bro,
something out.
You literally left
Dude.
strafed into it.
No, I did it for I had to go get a different
It looks like it was on purpose.
yeah, look, I had to get a
Yeah,
different
that
glyph.
had to be on purpose. Yeah,
I had a
yeah,
person
yeah.
for a glyph. I was trying to figure out the way to die. Yeah,
your
I had to
heart
get
is
a
up.
I didn't know because I didn't want to go all the way back because other people wouldn't be able to summon me. So you'll see in a second. I grab a glyph. Someone in stream came to drop one off.
Oh,
for me.
came to drop it. Okay, you had the streamer.
I'm
privilege.
using like
Ah.
explosive shot glyph because I was set up as survival. I can't get up here though.
Missed eye for the win. Brought it in. Nice.
Why you
Yeah.
guys were you were just talking about it, Joardee, if you want to spotlight it for a little bit on the healing for the beta. You guys talking about 4
Yeah.
healing, like if you want to kind of look at like what you think a meta would be for speedrunning and maybe more of a casual kind of healing
Well, I don't.
cooldown.
We keep talking about speedrunning, and I want to be careful about talking about it too much because
Yeah.
a lot of
That's
a
why I
lot
said
of the
casual
game.
as well, regular as well.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just-
yeah, yeah. I think you're gonna be. Most guilds should be 5 healing week 1, because like you want to bring your roster, right? There's a lot of guilds that have more than their 25, 30 people. So you bring 5 healers. You bring 1 of each and maybe a second Holy Paladin, and then you're comfy with that for the phase. The Resto Shaman is a little bit weaker, probably. The jury's still out, but that was my observation. And then all of your DPS are going to be bribing the Resto Druid for their, what is it, wild growth? Was that what
It's
it's called?
it's
Yeah, skip
revitalize.
that.
Is
Revitalize,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
talent. 15% chance
Um,
to get runic power, rage, mana back, or energy.
Yeah, we had somebody do like 3 essays worth of math to try to figure out how much damage it was, and it turns out it's pretty good.
Really,
yeah.
it's good.
Yeah,
Damn.
It's a decent. It's a
Especially
decent
for
chunk.
Rogue,
On
dude.
Yeah,
on
for
which
Rogue.
character? Rogue.
For
for
Rogue,
Rogue, yeah.
it's
8
huge
energy,
for Rogue.
15% chance. So like,
And if you got the 2-piece tier 3, did you guys run the numbers on that?
I don't
it,
think that's
it
working.
doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Oh, lame.
It doesn't double dip. So if you're using one, you don't get the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, but healing feels fun. Disc feels weird. It's the first time that I've ever healed, because I quit like right at this point in the game, pretty much last time. That I've been like, oh, I don't always have a button to push to save somebody. And so sometimes I'm just like, okay, he's got weakened soul. Penance is on cooldown. I don't have pain sub. I guess I just hope someone else saves him, and that's got to be okay. You know what I mean? And I think in retail that's a pretty common thing where it's like you have a lot of other people have. Yeah, exactly. A lot of other people have those moves, and I don't necessarily as a. So I mean, Jamie, I said he has weakened soul. What do you want me to say? So
you shield him for it.
he was already shielded, and also it's really fun fucking around with Rapture and like trying to time when the raid pops to get all that mana back and not burning the internal cooldown too fast so that it doesn't work and all that stuff. So it's very high risk, high reward, and I'm enjoying it. It's fun. Holy seems really good.
Thank you. I was going to ask that. Thank you.
Yeah. Holy is, I would say, harder to play than Disc because you have more moves to juggle, and using one makes the other one better. So you want to use that one. So you're constantly like doing a ton of things. I don't know how good Holy will be in the long term, but right now Holy feels great. Yeah. I still wouldn't drop the Disc. I would still say you want to bring the Disc over the Holy, but if you need that extra healer, the Holy is probably the way to go. There's a lot of really, I mean, like Empowered Renew is really strong. Prayer of Healing is really strong. Circle is still good. There's a lot of good stuff. So,
how about that Body and Soul though?
You know, okay, so that's a really strong consideration. Like for speedruns, do you not even bring a Disc Priest and you run a Holy Priest with Body and Soul, and that's like we'll figure it out. But for now, it's probably not the play. But long term, who knows? I mean, that's a pretty solid, consistent speed increase across your raid as you just shield the raid and everybody gets a speed boost. So
yeah, but doesn't aspect of the pack just affect the entire raid anyway?
Yes, but you're not always using pack in combat, so there's like a lot of.
Do they stack?
You're in combat a lot of time, right? So it's like there's a lot of. We'll see. There's a lot of
always pulling things.
Do they stack? Can you Body and Soul over and packed?
Should be able to.
You could, but I think it's faster, but it's barely.
I was just curious. I never did it.
No,
in a vacuum, though, I do think Holy Priest is my preferred 5th healer in a vacuum. In only Old War, it's my preferred 5th healer, and I do think there's a lot of value in that. And I will say, just a big shout out, like Guardian Spirit is probably the coolest and most satisfying external out there. Like when you save someone with Guardian Spirit, it feels amazing.
Yeah. I mean, healing is really it's really much more fun right now than it definitely was in TBC. I miss Circle, but whatever. Holy Paladins are insane. The stories were true. Fuck.
Beacon is stories were true.
Beacon
so yeah.
Any what do you think about Resto Druid and Resto Shaman? You touched on it a little bit. Is there any, just for the people in here who are dying or are going to play Arsham and Resto Druid? Did you get it?
Resto Druid is like, I would say it's your third healer every time. You're gonna bring Resto Druid pretty much with like for everything. The Resto Shaman I can't speak to. I don't think I played with one enough to know whether or not it was worth. But the Druid felt really great. The Hots are really strong. The Revitalize is really good. There's just a lot of what's the word? Everything feels a little bit less spiky with the Resto Druid because Hots are constantly rolling, and so apparently it's really fun. I haven't played it yet, but people are really enjoying it.
See lots of numbers.
Well,
yeah, it's always
like
exciting.
It seems like everybody, once the raid testing went, they went back to TBC, but all of us are still no lifing the beta. And Rugs, I was talking to him because we've been doing dungeons together. When I was talking that little resto thing you were talking about, bud?
Oh,
yeah.
You want to touch on a little Philly crafty here?
So I don't think this is like quite a Rugs original thing, but I've been messing around with this heal enhance spec that I was theory crafting. It's deep enhanced because we go all the way down for Maelstrom weapon, and when you stack up 5 stacks of Maelstrom weapon, your next chain heal, healing wave, lesser healing wave, they all become instant cast. And it's this fun little thing. I'm gonna do a video on it, so I'll explain all those details later and how it works, but it's not something that I would ever recommend for a 25-man unless you just were memeing around and didn't want to channel respec and do an actual DPS spec, and you just want to do halfway heal, halfway DPS. But in a dungeon setting, it's actually solid. It's really fun, and it kind of plays like how a Mistweaver monk should play in a Wrath of Lich King setting. It's melee. It's you want to spend something like Storm Strike on cooldown because it helps you pump out more heals and gain mana back. So everything just plays really well with itself. And so yes, I will put a video out there to explain all that eventually.
Yeah, it sounds like the Art of War HPAL build that people are talking about for dungeon grinding, right? Where you just Crusader Strike on cooldown, get crits, get instant heals. So
exactly.
Yeah, I really like that playstyle. I think like my 2 favorite times playing WoW was Fury proc in vanilla, and then playing HPAL in retail, because I really like the fantasy of being a melee weaving healer. It feels really good and really satisfying. So, because I just think, okay, this is probably not an unpopular opinion, but melee is just way more fun than ranged. It's way more fun. It's way more engaging for me. Caring about more mechanics in general, like melee just feels more satisfying to play and play well. Ranged, I don't get that same kick. It just like, oh man, I stood there, pressed my button. I've not pressed it real good. It's like, it feels like if there's ever anything that has to challenge a range, at the same time, the melee are being challenged twice as much. And that's just way more engaging for me gameplay wise.
Yeah. I like it.
Sorry to all the range players out there, but you know.
I like the same thing I was saying. I like in retail, a lot of the healers, especially at high end, you're DPSing, right? Especially in keys, you're DPSing, and I like it a lot.
Always.
So disc is my favorite iteration of any healer with atonement healing and stuff, and being able to have to do that. I like it a lot.
I think there's value in trying to have some of that kind of modern mentality in at least the early stages of Wrath. Like, people have talked about doing a 4-man or 3-man dungeon group for leveling. No matter what, at the end of the day, your healers should be trying to find ways to pump out more damage. Because if your tank is something like a Prot Warrior, for example, they're going to absolutely blast and not really take a whole lot of damage in a dungeon setting. You can spend multiple globals doing damage, and every healer can figure out a way to do it.
Well, Rugs and Zirene, just like Joardee just did for the healing, if you guys want to kind of slot in, take turns, talk about the tanks, because I know Rugs in the background tanking right now, right, as a prop paladin. You guys are both tanking at everything. You want to take it away and talk about them.
We're always like, hey, Rugs, go this. Hey, Rugs, go that.
Yeah.
I'll go. He's poking the beehive right now. He's like, hey, guys, want to talk about your opinions on these things? Because we kind of have a little bit of an idea, but in terms of just like how the tanks play, I actually think all of them are pretty satisfying, except Blood DK. Blood DK to me is very much so a wall. You are like the sturdiest, most durable tank is what it feels like, especially for big incoming damage. Like, I definitely think a Blood DK is like the best tank for things like Sartharian and Malagos especially, and DKs will probably feel this way throughout the expansion because of things like anti-magic shell, absorbing breaths and stuff, and really reducing high burst windows. So things that could like RNG your tank down. But in terms of how hard Naxx is hitting, my personal opinion is that in a speedrun setting, you'll run a Prot Warrior. I know this is the one that like people, I'm just getting it out there immediately because I know it's the one that people want to discuss. I think that Prot Warrior's ability to CC, its mobility, and its application of Sunder, and even using, because I would look at specs and people are bringing like 3 points in Heroic Strike still. I think you swap that to Attack Mastery, so you can swap to Battle Stance with 25 Rage and immediately Shattering Throw, which stacks with all other armor debuffs. So you can Shattering Throw something while tanking because it's not hitting hard enough, right? People are like, oh, you lose Blood DK, you don't have Hysteria. I'm like, it's a 30-second duration, 20% damage increase for 3 minutes. Shattering Throw is a 20% armor debuff for the entire raid for 10 seconds. And it's like, its cooldown is a little bit longer, but it's definitely a larger DPS increase for the entire raid if used appropriately. So, in my opinion, they're going to offer the best mixture of raid DPS increase as well as AoE tanking. Because when I play Blood, I just don't want to play Blood on trash. I feel miserable. Like, I came up with a Frost spec that's Deep Frost and then takes Morbidity just so I can AoE trash because it just feels better. I just feel like I do nothing on trash as a Blood DK. And, as somebody, we talked about this before, like trash is something that really matters to me as a tank player. I'm not so much always just this is the boss, I tank it. This like feels great. It's how quickly can I get through the trash, get aggro of it, keep moving, and move at the same time. And I feel like Prot Warrior for me is the one that does it the best. So.
Yeah, I think, let me just first say about the DK stuff. Like, not having Morbidity is going to feel miserable. Yeah. Not having something like Glyph of Death and Decay is going to feel absolutely miserable in Naxx. There's too much trash. It comes too fast for you to have anything available to hold aggro on it. It's awful as a DK. And because so much of Naxx is genuinely solo tankable, the DK is going to spend most of their time just off-spec DPS in a Naxx setting. That's just the truth of it. I think you have the right mindset, Zirene. Like, if you want to have fun, and if you are DK tanking in a Naxx setting, like, you can have fun with it. Like, theorycraft a Frost build, theorycraft an Unholy tank build. I think Unholy is going to have a really, really good time tanking in Naxx compared to, Blood or Frost because of having good damage on your Death and Decay and low cooldown with Morbidity. And even Gargoyle right now in its current state. Like, Unholy does a ton of damage. But overall, like, Blood and DK tanks, they feel really clunky in Naxx. There is just way too much happening for them to have the cooldowns and the runes available to actually handle incoming mobs. So it's pretty rough playing. In terms of the warrior stuff, I actually think you make a really good point, Zirene. As much as I meme you about Prot Warriors and as much as I meme the entire community about Prot Warriors, like Prot Warriors in general are just going to be like fine in Naxx. Like, the damage incoming in Naxx is not threatening enough for warriors to not be considered. I don't think they bring as much utility to a raid. There's no Divine Sack, there's no Salve, there's no Bop, there's no Hand of Sack. They don't have a cheat death. They're missing a lot in terms of like actual value to me. So I don't think I would ever like endorse that, but I can see totally where you're coming from. Their damage profile is totally fine. Their AoE threat and snap threat is really, really good. They have great pacing. So Prot Warrior is going to be solid in phase 1 for sure. But I think people are kind of playing Prot Paladin wrong right now anyway, just in general. I think, especially in phase 1, you can greed giga hard for damage on Prot Paladin. Like, I
think they're the highest tank in terms of overall DPS. Like, at the end of a run, I think Prot Paladins are the ones who end up with the most damage out of all the tanks so far that I've seen, at least.
They do a lot, man. I think I did more overall than a couple DPS and the one raid that we did, but those guys probably were dead on like something like Thaddeus and probably missed out on like hundreds of thousands of damage.
Millions. Like that's like 3 million damage on that fight.
Right.
Yeah.
But Prot Paladin does awesome. Aside from the really crappy scripting that we have with Righteous Fury on the beta that needs to get fixed or whatever it is, because it feels really rough sometimes. Prot Paladin does awesome. You run something like Glyph of the Righteous, you run Seal of Command, you run Glyph of Holy Wrath, you run all this other crap. You can actually pump. You can gem, you can enchant for more strength, you can run like DPS trinkets, something like Mirror of Truth, or even Dying Curse. Like, you could actually do huge damage as Prot Paladin. I'm not even joking. Like, people are sleeping on Prot Paladin damage because Naxx isn't a lot of incoming damage on tanks. And so I think Prot Paladin overall is going to be phenomenal as well.
What do you think the best,
brother.
What do you think the best second tank is?
Okay, so if we're probably Prot Warrior, I guess, if we're talking overall, like overall damage and stuff like that.
No, I mean,
in
if you
combo.
have a Prot Paladin, who's your number 2?
Yeah.
Oh, DK, 100%.
Really?
I want the Hysteria, man. If I'm two tanking a fight, give me the DK. He's gonna provide more value in an encounter than any other tank, in my opinion.
What if you don't go tank spec as you tank though, as a DK?
Yeah, I mean, I did Frost. Yeah, I did Frost and never had to respec. There's actually like a full 25 man of me tanking and then not respecking, just changing gear, because
That
80% of
feels
your durability
better.
comes from that. That felt a lot better, to be honest. And I still did good damage. I think I linked the log to Crix, where I'm like number 2 on damage taken and number 2 in damage dealt, because I just DPS
That
all
is
the bosses.
so
that I didn't have to.
Chad. I love
Yeah,
that.
I didn't have to. I didn't have to like do any damage, or sorry, take any damage on things like Anubricon, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's only 2 fights in Naxx that really require 2 tanks, and that's Thaddeus and Patchwork. Everything else, yeah, and that's why personally, it's actually so funny that my opinion is actually polar opposite of like P server players, where they're like, what? They're like DK Paladin. I'm like Prot Warrior. I think Feral Druid's your number 2. I think they're your
Really?
highest. I think they're your highest damage dealing character in an off spec. They bring crit to the raid, and if you don't bring that, you're bringing a Fury Warrior, right?
But you should
Oh,
have
like,
a feral
are you-
DPS in the raid. Did you forget about the
Yeah.
cat?
He is the feral DPS. He is the feral DPS. You're telling me you're bringing a DK as your number 2, and then you're still bringing a feral on top of it. Why not bring that one tank who's going to do the same thing, bring that same buff, and then you can replace that feral cat with a better DPSer?
No, we spent all of the Burning Crusade going bear form when
No,
we should have been cat
no, no, no,
form.
Listen
You're,
here.
you're
Listen
only
here.
going to be in bear
Listen.
form for 2 fights.
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's okay. You're going to be fine. Like,
I don't get to cat on Patchwork? This is bullshit.
I mean, this could be, obviously it's just my theory crafting on this. I could be completely wrong, and I will preface like all this with that. But from what I've seen, all the like times I've played WoW and all the things I know about speedrunning, those are the 2 tanks I think you're going to bring in Naxx 25 because of what they bring and what they allow you to bring in return, right? Like, because speedrunning isn't always just about what the character does; it's what the character that would replace them doesn't do. So like Blood DK, I'm like, I have no reason to bring a Blood DK except for Hysteria, and I need to milk that for absolute value because the buffs they bring, a Frost DK is going to bring, and you're also going to have like a Shaman bring, and they're already in the raid. So like the value of them goes very down. And then for like Prot Warrior, I'm like, who's going to sunder these things on trash? Are you going to make your rogue exposed still? Like, well, what is the way to like work around that? And then shattering
Whoa.
through that every warrior has value, right?
Yeah.
So
Progress is on KJ with a pace of 45 seconds faster than the world record.
how far into
I'm
fight
loading,
are
it,
they?
I'm loading it right
Yeah,
now.
they're about to pull KJ. They
About to pull KJ. It's in the
about
background.
Ah.
Yeah.
Let's watch it while we're talking. Sorry, continue. I just
All
wanted to say that.
No, I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Sarthe is recording his review as
He's scripting it right now.
he's just
Here they go. 45 seconds. They're on type. Oh, look at
But
the time.
I think, in all honesty, I see like where Zirene's coming from. Like that second tank, realistically, most of the time they're DPS. Why wouldn't you have someone who's really good at DPS and still bringing the buff? So like, even if it's like 2 feral specs that the guy has, right, and does pick it up, I think that's really, really solid. The argument for warrior over the paladin, that's interesting. I think that's really interesting. But Shattering Throw is a fucking huge raid CD. I think that's way bigger than Hysteria overall. The way we usually play and how much that buffs like everyone's physical DPS, right, for that amount of time.
it's only 5 seconds, right?
It's 10.
It's 10 seconds.
And Hysteria is 20
Hysteria is 30 seconds, 20% damage physical for a single person.
for one person.
We also haven't had working Arms Warrior on the beta yet.
Yeah.
And we have yet to see how Arms Warrior does in Naxx. I think they'll actually do all right. And
on
having
trash, people big.
I think that there's going to be points where like, okay, if Shattering Throw enables you to skip mechanics and skip like, can you skip a web wrap on Maxna? With it, can you do, whatever, and you get that extra time, it's
Saffron,
going to be
yeah.
much more valuable. Yeah, Saffron with the flying phase, right? That'll be much, if there's really nothing that enables you to do something like that, it may not be as valuable as, but we'll see. I have a feeling
in my
it's
opinion,
gonna be
these things in the
great.
these things in the grand scheme of things are just so small anyway. Like, it's like those things are so small, but I'm just comparing it because everybody will say Unholy Frenzy, you lose that. Never bring a
Totally.
Prot Warrior. I'm like,
Totally.
they have Shattering Throw, they have Sunders on trash and Sunders on bosses. Like,
Totally.
they bring value whether people like it or not, right?
I think
Absolutely.
you also, from a normal guild perspective, you're bringing that guy, right? You're bringing a warrior. So you gotta figure out what he's gonna play, and so, So yeah,
The five of us have a
we're-
hard time removing ourselves from the speedrun mentality.
Yeah, it's
We do.
it's difficult, and I think we should probably try to do more of it. But
Yeah, I mean, if
to be fair, like we are in a place where our the way we play the game influences the way that a lot of people play the game.
yeah,
And
that is very
so-
true.
And so I think it's important to have caveats about a lot of the stuff that
Yeah,
we
like-
talk about.
Personal opinion, I think that the speedrun meta in 25-man at the highest level will be Prot Warrior, Feral Druid. Things don't hit hard enough. I think those are the two best tanks you can take that cover enough buffs and debuffs to not gimp your damage, and also provide the most flexibility for being a tank that can AoE tank, get snap threat, provide debuffs, etc. And then the off tank is the one that has to flex the least between specs and can still DPS at a high level and provide the same buffs and stuff that I was talking about before. In a regular raid, anything below the top percentage, a Blood DK Frost. Like,
Yo, look at
or
this.
sorry, Blood DK, what's that?
Look at this. I can't. It's just Sal's chat. Can't wait for Sarthe's video. How to progress beat the Sunwell Plateau for a speedrun record. They're
There it
already
is.
waiting for it, dog.
Dude, it's a thing. It's great.
Are there? Oh no.
I already know too, because for this one, they did the triple hunter one. I'm gonna get some of the boys in chat. Like
32
What's
minutes.
the record right
They
now?
did it.
What's the record?
They did it.
33-17.
30.
Progress on top.
33-35. 33-35.
Yeah, 33-35.
Congrats, guys. Congratulations.
I just want to go on record and say
How long
I
until-
completely disagree with what Zirene just said, just so everyone knows.
Well, I think that in the casual guild, Prot Paladin, Blood DK is your two tanks.
Dude, Prop
Like,
Paladin feels so good to heal.
Comfy.
Like
Those are comfy.
it's like knowing that he's got a cheat death mechanic
DSAC is
just
sick.
such a fucking like pog thing, and
1 minute and 4 seconds ahead.
Wow.
yeah, that's a huge amount of time.
Congrats, bro.
It's a huge amount of time.
All right, back to WoW. Listening. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you completely disagree with what I said.
I completely disagree with what you said. When you talk about top end with the Prot Warrior and the Feral, I just want everyone to know it's Prot Paladin and then DK with literally throwing on tank gear when needed and throwing on DPS gear when needed, staying full DPS spec.
DK DPSing is so much damage, right?
Yeah.
So
you guys see this log? You see
DKs
Zirene's
are
log? Damage
are
done
doing nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Overall?
it's the flex one.
Yeah.
with second damage taken.
So that's a really solid tank combo.
Is that with
really,
Broken
really
Sigil?
solid.
Damn, fart killed
No,
it.
no, I didn't use Broken Sigil at all. I banned that thing. I don't want you to say. I joined your raid and I was like, so we're banning the sigil, right? And then like Alondo and all those guys are like, it's gone in like 2 weeks, man. Let us play. Like
That's the most Alondo thing ever.
I was like, God damn it, dude. Like, and so we have like these DKs like cranking out like 9k DPS. I'm like,
I thought you made a good point. I tried to police it, but at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna.
It's whatever. It's whatever.
Joardee, since we're on the healer topic with the tanks, what, and you're like healing a tank, like what, can you touch on like what, I don't know, like what was there what tank was better, like worse, better to heal, like, you know what I mean?
So the DK's leveling felt awful to heal. They're super squishy. Their threat is garbage. It was rough. Granted, they were in level 70 like of the bold gear or whatever for a while, so like that sucked. But healing it sucked. Healing a Prot Paladin felt like I almost didn't need to be there. It was awesome. At 80, the DK definitely, as they started to collect more gear, it felt more like a warrior in vanilla, where they're very gear dependent, and once they had the gear, they were feeling really good. But still, the Prot Paladin, and granted, their threat, I guess, is bugged, right? Righteous Fury's bugged. They're getting 43% less threat than they should be, but they are still really beefy and shut up, hands. And having that, like I said, the cheat death mechanic is really nice. It's just like I would rather be healing a Prot Paladin than anybody else for the most part.
Okay.
I did a couple dungeons with a warrior. The mobility is insane. You're always running behind trying to keep up. I feel bad for anyone who has to hard cast on a warrior because you're just constantly moving. And then I never actually got to do a dungeon with a feral druid or a raid with a feral druid, so I can't speak to that. But from what I understand, they're doing great. They're just kind of outclassed by a lot of other people unless you're in the Zirene world where you're trying to fill your buffs in a min-max scenario. So
You're just DPSing and then
I think most
Yeah.
people
It's two
will
fights.
really easily go with like the prop pally blood decay thing, right? Like for most people, or not even blood, but like prop pally decay thing, it's like the easiest setup also, generally.
very, very easy to
Beautiful.
heal. Like Will of the Necropolis is incredibly strong because it's reducing the entire hit by 15%. So like,
Yeah.
I gave Crix a log where it's on the damage taken for my DK, and it's just a list of just how much I'm absorbing from hateful strikes, and things that would put you below 35% HP getting completely reduced by 15% is massive because it acts differently than Ardent Defender does for Paladins, because that one only reduces the damage below 35% by 20%. So it's only like if I get hit for a 30k, the 10k gets reduced by 20%. The part that hits me at below 35% gets reduced. Whereas Will of the Necropolis is just taking the entire hit and going, take 15% off that.
that's a massive difference.
I see.
Yeah,
I see
it's
the log. My
actually
bad. Wrong
big.
log. I think I got
Yeah.
it here.
Yeah.
Is that it right there? There you go.
Oh, and that has like Will of the Necropolis damage absorbed. Yeah. Like Hatefuls are hitting like late, a little bit down. Yeah, Hatefuls are hitting for like 21k,
20k, yeah.
20k, 23k, which is way more healable than like we had a prop paladin as our off tank on this. He got hit for 29k, right? Because it's only absorbing like the last 2k of it,
you
whereas
go.
this is on average getting like 4k out of the hit.
What are the odds they nerf 25 patch?
I don't know.
He does hit really hard.
He hits really
He
hard.
hits really hard. What are the
10
odds?
patch is
But
a
it's avoidable.
joke.
So
10
Yeah.
patch, I was like, dude, he's not even hitting.
He hits for 10k. Yeah, it's like
Our
Yeah.
template gear though was really bad, Joardee.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fair.
yeah, I'm just not sure how much more I would be able to reduce this by with just with armor, right? Because I think armor is the stat that a lot of people go after, to try and just like add more mitigation for things.
This was the
aside from, like,
only fight.
parry and dodge.
This and how much health Thaddeus had felt
Off.
wrong to me.
Oh, Patrick.
No, yeah, Patchwork
Thaddeus.
and Thaddeus's HP. I think that
Mhm.
was about the only time where I was like, this is wrong. Maybe also the A bombs were doing like no damage on Kel'Thuzad, but that was it, I think.
Yeah.
But
Um,
also, well, Gluth was like obnoxiously.
I
bugged.
loved the way that
It was so fun though.
It was-
no.
You're like, I loved it. It was hard mode.
It was so interesting running around away from the zombies. It felt
Yeah,
it's just-
slowly
it was-
kiting the zombies
it was
forever.
it was so much cooler.
Oh my God.
And it was a
Overall,
mess.
logs got totally fucked by that.
Bro,
Because some people
what-
would just
yeah.
turn and like mind sear it or spread all their diseases to it or
Oh no,
whatever,
my
and
beta
everything got
logs are being
screwed.
juiced by people.
Yeah, they
I
changed
would
the
like
staff.
throw a
they-
slow trap and a main trap there, and just be like, 1 second. All right, cool. I'm back on boss.
Yeah. Do
As
some-
random as it
some-
was, they changed the staff aura. I don't know what that means or what that. Or was there something with the staff aura that I missed that would have changed? Because someone I was talking to, was it Wartides or someone, they were doing the damage, but they changed it. They didn't say what they changed.
Like mid run, because they actually
just now, yesterday, the update, they changed the
Yeah,
staff
they
aura.
announced a change.
because they did that in the very first like version of testing Naxx. They gave us like buffed versions of our own characters, and we went in and tested Naxx, and they changed the Saphora like within the couple of hours of us the
Wow.
test being available.
Did you guys
There's-
notice something about it? That, you know, what would they
The-
have changed?
the damage was increased by 30% from the old values.
Oh.
What did they say the change was? That they
I think they
reverted
said,
that?
I don't know. They didn't say. They just said.
Or
Someone have a link. Say they changed the aura, or fixed the
Sounds like
aura, or
fake
something
news.
like that. No, it was.
No,
well, I mean, it's on the fucking
it was
blue
a
post.
it was a patch note.
God.
Let's go.
I'm actually cracking up here because this is the thing that's playing on screen right now is when I was like, I got crushing blowed, but what happened? So like in the middle of the fight, I'm like threat is a complete non-factor. So I actually just open up my settings for my combat log while tanking, and I'm just like, okay, let me find this. And I spend like a good 20 seconds looking for the setting while still tanking because it's just threat is just a joke. Threat is
Just-
Yeah, Sapphira now cast the intended frost aura. Yeah,
Yeah.
divine image.
Okay,
yeah,
good,
it's- You can fucking
So-
you can do so many
so
things. I'm not worried about that.
either-
I'm just saying, what would they have changed? I, don't remember anything being
Either
too
they
wrong.
buffed or they didn't.
Which actually can lead to the next topic is how'd you guys feel about the difficulty? Would you be fine with that? Would you? I'm always
It's-
for one that's gonna say I want it harder, but that's just me. Like, how do you guys feel it was?
It's so easy. I would
Oh,
definitely
God, thank
want
God
it
you
to
said
be.
that.
I would definitely want it to be harder, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm excited to just absolutely shit on Naxx and find like the cool stuff that we can do, like the gigapulls and all that. Like I kind of miss that from. There wasn't a
Yes.
lot of gigapulls in TBC, just period, right? Because like
Yeah.
back in the day, you'd do Fairlina gigapulls with people and you would just blow it up. You'd do like a whole stables pull.
Or
I'm
you
like,
would die.
I'm like, there's gonna be some massive shit that happens here. Like, I'm excited for that angle of it, because if I wasn't, I'd just be bored out of my mind. I'd just be like, this stuff doesn't hit hard at all. And that's the thing too, where I was like, hey, I'm tanking this thing on a prot warrior. They're like one of the least like defensive of the tanks. Like, well, like Blood DK and Prot Paladin are obviously way better at surviving. I'm sitting here going, but there's a bug where bosses have more weapon skill. Like I'm getting crushing blowed, I'm getting hit, and I'm not block dodging or parrying at the same rate because they have more weapon skills, so they're lowering my mitigation. So I'm like, on live, it's going to be even less damage that I'm taking.
Yeah.
So that for me, I'm like, the only reason I died is like Saffron crushed me for 19k, and like Makesna did the same thing, right? Those are the only times that I like really felt like I died because of a boss's incoming damage. It's going to be even easier on live.
What about
fix
you,
that.
Rugsies? What do you think?
Okay, so like I said before, like there's nothing you can do to make Naxx hard, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. I think the difficulty is just like Zirene said, it's very easy, and it's probably only going to get easier unless they add more custom buffs. But even then, at the end of the day, like it's going to be easy, and I feel like that's fine. It's completely fine. It's the first phase of the expansion. It's not meant to be a super sweaty phase. It's supposed to be a phase that's encouraging for you to level up alts and get ready for the next phases, and to just have a good time and collect gear and get pixels and start pumping. I think it will be really cool, and Sarthe knows, because Sarthe and I were doing some mega pulls, not only in heroic dungeons, but we were messing around with some mega pulls in Naxx Rammus.
Yeah.
Only 10 man granted, but there's going to be a lot of fun stuff that you can do with like massive pulls in Naxx that will be really, really exciting.
Like, we literally pulled the entire patchwork room and then had patchwork reset and kill everything in that room before patchwork got there. And that was in 10 man. We're going to be able to do that in 25. Like, that's the things I miss the most probably about like classic, were these crazy pulls where if you pulled it off, it was so exciting, but it was like this like little risk if like somebody messed up. Like let's say like now it'd be like your paladin didn't desack and your entire like raid just wipes, then it's like, all right, see you next circus. That's the run. You know, it's like these like really high energy moments. Risk reward, man.
High risk, high reward. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, actually, low reward. You save a few seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
Taking these constant risks just to like, I could wipe my entire raid, but we'll save 5 seconds. Do that 5 times in a row. There you go.
Sarthe, how do you feel about
Thaddeus
the
was-
difficulty, buddy? Well, go ahead, Ruggs. You can finish first.
I was just gonna say we also pulled Thaddeus, and how Thaddeus is also still chain pulling like his leash of the entire room, which wasn't something we were expecting on doing. We just decided to like, let's see what happens. We literally pulled, or not Thaddeus, Resuvius, and so we pulled Resuvius
His entire room.
and killed the entire room with the boss multiple times just
Yeah.
to prove that we could do it. Anyway,
For difficulty, I think it's. I personally am of the aspect of like, obviously the raid is relatively easy. It's easy, but I think the way that we really make it fun and interesting is exactly what like Zirene is saying, is like how hard can we, or like what limits can we push with this raid? How aggressively can we like DPS? Like how many things can we pull? What are the strategies we can try? Because like Ruggs was saying also, you can't make Naxx hard. Maybe if you like go back to like full scaling like it was in classic, and it like imagine like scaling of Naxx in classic with no world buffs, like it's still definitely doable and like not like necessarily hard, but it was a challenge for a lot of people. But in now we have like classes that deal with all of those mechanics all better. We have so many more like utilizations. Really, I'm excited to see basically us going into Naxx and dealing with it with like all of the new specs, all of the new classes, because every class is better and has more utility. Instead of back in Naxx Rammus in Classic, literally you brought one warlock, and it's, or maybe 2, and their entire job was to make sure curses were up on trash and bosses. That's like it, right? Like now we have every single class has AoE, every single class has like buffs or debuffs that are useful. We still will absolutely see class stacking, especially as we get into like the tier list. We'll see a lot of that, but everything is useful for the most part, and everything is also fun. So like I'm excited to see like what we can come up with, because it's not as scripted. We haven't done as many like quote unquote speed runs of Naxx, and even just for like casual fun guilds and fun runs, I think everyone's gonna realize how much fun they're having on their new talents, their new builds, all of that.
Okay, Joardee, want to round it up with how you think the difficulty is? I know you guys saying for classic, so how does this? I didn't play classic Naxx. How does this feel compared to that? Too.
I mean, this is way easier. I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you guys said. This is way easier.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being easy. You can artificially inflate the difficulty because of speedrunning, and I think that the more people we have playing this game, the better it is for everybody. And having an easy first tier just brings everybody in and gets them invested, and I think that that's okay. And so, my only qualm with this is that it's Naxx again. I would rather it be another mega dungeon that has 15 bosses that isn't Naxx, but you know, it's okay. Sarthe is fun. Malagos is fun. They're short, but they're fun. And yeah, just use the phase to level up your characters and get ready for whatever else you want to do. Because it took me maybe like a day of playtime to get full Prebis, and it'll take you 3 weeks to get full bis, essentially. Within any whatever. So it's like, just enjoy the phase. Don't take it too seriously. I think. I mean, it's gonna be hard for a lot of us to do that, but yeah. I mean, I think this is just like we're all fun. It's fun playing the game, and we don't have to be all super sweaty about it right now.
Yeah.
And that's an okay time.
Okay. We're going to do. We touched a lot on heavy on the healings and tanks because I never have tank guests here. I hope Zirene will come back a million times. We're going to end up doing a phase 1 DPS tier list. This is why we've not talked about DPS. So before we actually get to that, because we know how much you guys love tier list. Holy shit. Was there any surprising...
Just look at this footage real quick. This is so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I love this fight.
It's bugged.
It's
so
awesome.
For those that don't know,
What do you mean it's miserable?
It's bugged, and these zombies aren't getting knocked down.
As a healer, I'm just trying to keep up with my tank and stay away from... Oh, it's so great.
Good. I like this fight. This is a
Sorry
good
for
one.
interrupting.
Oh, you're fine. No worries. What about any surprising classes DPS wise before we go to a tier list?
Enhancement. Spell
Yo,
hands.
spell
Yeah, I
hands.
know. And
Spell
I'm
hands, spell hands, spell hands.
I'm gonna shout them out right now too. Just Euro and.
I heard that this guy rugged. I was doing more research on it too to like practice it myself and like see how fun it is. And like every video, it's like, and here's like Anfal's video is like, I'm gonna let my friend Ruggs take over for a minute. So it is, holy crap, Spellhance is performing phenomenal.
DK
It's like
surprised
no
me
one's
still.
listening.
DK was a good one too. Still, not the bug DK, but even without the bug, and
Even without, yeah, but that was expected, right? That was like expected. I think Spellhance was expected to be good, but not this good.
Yeah. I expected them to be like upper mid tier. Not potentially
not
number one.
The best. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shamans? Come on. Shamans?
Yeah, I know, right? Just press lust, shut up. Like
Exactly.
yeah, we were watching the end of the progress run, my friend. Thank you, Ty Dogs. Hunter, someone said Hunters. Well, I mean, it's not surprising to me and Ruggs
Hunter's
because
not
we can
surprising
tell.
to me.
Yeah, we already knew Hunter was going to be good. That was just, I don't know where people didn't think they were going to be good, to be honest.
They are so strong.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
They're so good. And if played right? And it's like Marksman Hunter on overall, and most people always thought that was kind of a meme, but they can just add up damage like crazy, especially as we pull bigger. Hunter's damage will shoot up even higher, which is where there's a lot more fun. If we pull really small, if you're pulling small on like longer fights or like more single target, early on, obviously survival will be like the way. But if you pull big, Hunters are just seeing this like fucking huge spike. And I've gone through so many logs now, and like now slowly you're starting to see people utilize the playstyle correctly, and their numbers are just way up there. So I love Hunter.
Trying to find.
I'm excited to play mine.
Like I haven't run into really like any good hunters, and the ones that are like decent, they do good damage, but I haven't been blown away by them just yet. So that's the thing. I'm a little, they're the class that's like the dark horse right now that I have no eyes on. or I don't really like have good comparison. Like, you know, I play with Oro, right? Like he's literally in my raid. So like the spell hand stuff for him, like I just see him constantly. He's gapping warlocks on overall. Like, granted, he is good at the class. But like everybody, you know how like logs usually you just have like a small like kind of slope. Like literally everybody, and he's actually gapping the top person by like at least an inch or something on the meter.
Damn,
on
I love
overall.
that.
So that's the thing that's impressive to me is that
Shout
it's
out
not
again,
like he's
just Euro.
barely
Check
number
him
one.
out. He's streaming. I was literally just doing heroics with him on my Ellie
great.
Shaman right now. He's a fucking pumper.
And people say like, you know, like there's worried that spell hands doesn't scale. It's just because armor pen becomes more prevalent later on, and so you just swap to regular enhance later on when you have armor pen, and then you might wear your spell damage set for trash and use like, you know, spell power or use like your totems and stuff. Still, we'll see, but
the
you'll
spec
do AoE
itself
damage.
doesn't change. The rotation doesn't change. You equip Wind Fury in main hand and change out a main hand weapon. That's it.
Instead of
So
double
simple.
flame tongue or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the exact same.
That's crazy.
Logs are skewed because AoE cap's not in.
Yeah, I mean, AoE cap is an envy, but that affects everybody who's trying to AoE, right? So like if you're saying like, oh, they're beating warlocks, like the warlocks are seeding the same packs, they're Fire Nova Toad aim, right? So it's like everybody's going to do less damage because it's not capped against 10 targets, it's capped against 20 targets. Right now it's double what it should be, but that just means that everybody. I mean, I'm trying to think of the times that you actually AoE more than 20 mobs in Naxx right now in most average logs that I've seen. You probably only do it like once or twice in the ones that like Rugs is doing. Those
some
are big.
spider wing pulls, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm like, not everybody's doing those pulls, right? People are just going from like pack to pack to pack. Because like 20 is a lot of mobs. 10 is like some of those spider wing pulls, like you're saying. But yeah, and plus everybody's AoEing those anyway, so everybody's gonna subject to the same thing. So it's not like the reason that Spellhance is doing really well.
They're just doing good.
Once that gets changed, it's not like it's going to nerf them into the ground. Everybody's going to relatively go down a tiny bit, save for like DK. That's not Frost.
Spellhance just freaking just instant AoE too. It's so fast. It's just it's almost irritating. I'm doing dungeons with him and it's miserable. It's not miserable because it's fun because I'm an Ellie, so I'm kind of doing Fire Nova shit too, but sometimes I can't even get a chain. I can't get anything off. I can get like a Nova off and like my Thunderstorm, and then like I'm casting a chain and then they're dead. And he's like doubling my DPS. I'm like, God damn it. And he's just laughing his ass off. And they can move faster than me. They can move faster than most because they're
mobile.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. They're that did surprise me as well.
And they ramp up so fast. Like it's not like they have to wait for procs too much, like on a pull or like trash to really like do a lot. They're always pumping.
Yeah.
Man, a little bit of mana. I think they have a little bit of mana issues, though, right?
It
feels like they have a little bit of mana because the more you're spamming Fire Nova, they have a little bit of mana. But I just speculation there.
It's really good because it's like effective cleave. Like it's not much of a stray from their single target rotation. Your Spender is Chain Lightning instead of Lightning Bolt, but you're still going to Fire Nova on single target anyway. It's a lot similar to like an Unholy DK has a really effective cleave and cleave AoE. So that kind of kit is really, really desirable and really good. So that's why I love seeing Enhance absolutely dominating on overall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you plan to play it, just learn which position your fire totem comes out in. I think it's front right is where it comes out. It's either front right or front left because you want to position that. And as a tank, if you ever see your shamans place a fire Ellie totem, you don't bring the boss away from it because they want to Fire Nova off the totem. So like on Noth or something like that, when he's running around the room, just bring it back to the fire totem. Bring it back to the Ellie because he can't like replace another totem, fire totem, without losing that. So
That's
do him a favor.
big.
Yeah, do him a favor, bring it back to it.
Joardee, someone's asked this a couple times. It says, what healer spec is the easiest to off
Front
spec
left.
to DPS without changing much of their gear? I was just gonna say the spell power gear, but I didn't know if there was something that you knew.
Yeah, I mean everything is a caster probably, but I mean the question is like if enhance is better than Ellie, do you have your resto shamans go enhance and deal with picking up all that enhanced gear, right? Like that's a lot of work, but that's probably optimal. So it's like priest can go shadow, you need to pick up 11% hit, and your shamans need to figure something out. Boomkin, the resto druid going Boomkin seems like a pretty safe bet over the feral, and paladin's kind of in this weird spot where it'd be kind of hard to get, especially like the weapons. There's a lot of plate gear and a lot of plate classes that need that gear in raid, and so it's kind of hard for the paladin to pick up the ret gear. So the paladin, I think, has kind of the hardest job with the swap. So, and in that consideration, it's like, okay, do you not bring 2 paladins then to a raid because one of them, when you want to drop a healer, one of them needs to go ret, and it's harder to gear that person. So I think with 10 mans, it'll be a little bit easier because you'll pick up what you can, but you're not going to be, you know, the max eye level off spec as fast as everybody else. So that didn't answer any questions except
Let me just
give
talk
some
around this
background.
really fast.
But like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you gotta think about what's best for you and what your raid is gonna want from you, right? Like, I know that I'm gonna have shadow spec stuff all the time. I think that oftentimes you're gonna go down to a holy paladin, a disc priest, and that'll be the core of your healing roster. But there will be times where you just need one holy paladin, and I'll go shadow and say fuck it. Yeah.
Nice.
Is there hit food in Wrath?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is. Okay,
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Sarthe, is Unholy, or anybody, but Sarthe, I know you've been playing a lot of the DKs. Is Unholy dual wielding going to be better than Naxx than people expected? Most said you need armor pin before dual wield pops off.
It's gonna be the play. It's gonna be the play. A lot of people are testing. I mean, a lot of the logs everyone is seeing, or a lot of the VODs everyone is seeing, is everyone using the bug sigil. And it's not just the sigil, like Zirene kind of sent in the group chat. It's not just the sigil. There's also death runes. If all of your other runes are on CD and you only have 1 death rune available, it will act as all 3 runes at one time, which is really, really buggy and lame. But it is dual unholy is going to be incredibly powerful. It's even with, I've seen some logs from really, really incredible players running with some of the best items like the 2-handed axe from KJ and stuff, and still losing to themselves when they played dual unholy with less good gear. So dual wield unholy is still insanely powerful when you're not using it as the bugged way. You can't really play around you kind of can, but it's hard-ish to play around the death rune bug. So I wouldn't really like worry too much about that. I do, however, think Frost DK is potentially on overall gonna win, and maybe if on longer fights, because the gargoyle snapshot is like so much of your damage. It is so incredible, and Frost DK really pumps on overall, especially if we all can do more damage and have better gear. We're all going to kill things faster. So I played one raid, as the one in the background. I played the first half of the raid, or actually just Spiderwing as Frost, and then I switched to Dual Unholy. And I think both of them are, even though there is the bugs, both of them, like, Death Knight is fucking insane. It's absolutely the meta class. It's crazy.
I guess the next. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so what is the difference? What makes the difference between the orb spec and the 2-handed spec? Why is there a difference? Like, because people say one is good, one is not. I like reasoning
I think they're both
behind
good.
it.
Yeah.
So why is it better? Is it just
they're both really, really solid. So the morph spec just is seeing more DPS come out. It's kind of a lot of like physical DPS. Even you don't run Scourge Strike, which is like your big, like, hard hitting single target ability as normal dual wield, or as normal unholy, but you're dual wielding, and a lot of your physical damage is still from melee, and it's actually adding up like kind of crazily. So it feels awkward at first, though. It definitely feels awkward to play at first for most people, because you no longer have like one ability that uses 2 of your runes that like hits hard. Instead, you are managing buffs more. You actually have your ghoul doing more damage also, because you're keeping up Ghoul Frenzy on single target. Blood Boil is a DPS increase on single target when you don't need to use Heart Strike to keep up Desolation, which is weird. And you're also waiting for Death and Decay at times. You're quite often actually waiting for Death and Decay. So sometimes your runes will just be like there. 2 of your runes will be ready and 1 won't be ready for like a second and a half, and you just need to like hope you have the the runic power to get a death coil off and make sure you're keeping up that debuff. So they're really
people
close.
are saying that like regular unholy doesn't take Ghoul Frenzy.
Often you don't. Often you don't.
Is that because you need the unholy rune for like Scourge Strike or something?
Yeah. So, but it's easy as dual unholy to use that unholy rune as Ghoul Frenzy every other time it comes up, right? But you do. It's interesting. The weird part is like your filler spells as dual unholy literally are like Icy Touch and Plague Strike, which is like awkward not having like a single normal ability that does a ton of damage, you know?
Your Death and Decay does a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yes, it's huge.
Yeah.
You're single target Death and Decaying all the time.
Your top 4 damaging abilities on like any fight are going to be your auto attacks, your Gargoyle, Death and Decay, and either your Death Coil or your Ghouls auto attacks. And it's going to be like those are your top 5. And that feels weird. It's like what Sarthe is saying is you don't have like an Obliterate or a like Death Strike or a Scourge Strike to be like a big part of your profile. It's like Death and Decay. It's AoE like damage, AoE dots basically. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. It feels clunky, but it's performing better already, and that's without trying to keep without bugging it, right? But you cannot play around the you kind of can, but it's hard to play around the death rune thing. So that part is unfortunate, but I think no matter what, it's going to be extremely powerful. And I think both specs, you can have dual unholy and it's going to be powerful also, or two-handed unholy. But both DPS specs of Death Knights are just bonkers right now. It's crazy.
You want to before we do the tier list, I want to talk about just the big.
I guess I had a question. Who did any of you play with a two-handed unholy at all?
I know that I personally didn't. I've not seen logs. I know that a lot of top guilds have. I know Progress has run some dual unholies, and I know I've seen logs of some other ones. I haven't seen those logs, but I know a lot of people have tested it. I've only ran. I don't think I've ran with a DPS dual unholy that was really good at it.
I got a two-handed unholy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't find any. I haven't found any of them. I didn't play with one. I didn't see one on anybody's stream, so I had no idea what it was.
Everyone's
that's a lot of
excited.
That's a lot of ghouls. Sorry, I just looked at the stream. That's a lot of ghouls, man. Yeah. Army of the Dead is so troll. Oh my god. This is gonna
lead to the next thing. One more topic before we go to the tier lists is you want to touch on the sigil bug and anybody else on any big bugs.
Sorry.
Anything.
I was right about to pump, dude. I had just summoned my gargoyle. Yeah. The sigil bug. So there's a sigil on the beta that is supposed to give you 111 damage to your Icy Touch. It is a very mediocre sigil in general, but right now, whenever you use Icy Touch, it's actually giving you 111% haste. Not haste rating, but percent haste. So it's bringing down your auto attacks to like 0.8. And it also snapshots with your ghoul, which will then be doing like 200k DPS or damage as a ghoul, which is unreal, right? It's like doubling the cast from your ghoul. From your gargoyle. So that sigil bug is ridiculous, and it is not fair to play with it. I've messed around with it sometimes in the raid. You can see in the background, I'm messing around with it on that pull, and then I took it off for the later half of the raid and for all of our Sartherion 3 Drakes and stuff. I took it off and was slightly behind our dual unholy with it, but I also think I had set up weak auras so that I'm tracking buffs a little bit better, or debuffs, so you're tracking everything a little bit better. Yeah.
Crix, do you want to touch on warlock bugs? I know like quick decay and corruption weren't even working. Is that right?
Yeah, we got we got a glyph that is our base glyph that's like is just not working. It's just they tried to fix it, but it's not all the way down. It's about 15% of our damage, so we actually haven't been able to test anything with Affliction. Corruptions are falling off 3 seconds early. You actually, it's like DPS decrease to use the glyph that carry. What the glyph does is it gives haste to our corruption. So our corruption is affected by haste, which is obviously, as you can imagine, a big deal. And it's not out there. So Affliction's fine. It's doing fine. It's just could be doing significantly better. So you won't see a lot of Warlocks playing Affliction at all. And if they don't fix that, I can't imagine playing Affliction until like you have to or some shit, because it's I would say I don't want to say unplayable, because you can still play it technically, but as a Warlock fanatic, it's fucking super tilting.
This is
really
actually so I want to explain something in like game design for 1 second, because like, you know, I used to work at Riot Games. I was in the QA department for a bit as well. And when in League of Legends they release a character and it's weak and it's perceived as weak and it has like a low win rate, people won't play it at the same rate even if it gets buffed. So like, for example,
Really?
Champion release is weak, people play it, they don't succeed with it, they drop it very quickly, they don't fall in love with the pattern, learn the play style, and then when it gets buffed, they're still hesitant to pick it up. If a character releases strong, people will play it, they'll learn the pattern, they'll invest time into it, and then when it gets nerfed, they'll still continue to play it because they've mastered the rotation, they know how to play it, right? So releasing things strong actually is better long-term for them than releasing something weak. The play rate actually never returns to quote-unquote normal levels for a character when it's released.
That's so cool.
And that's
Wow,
why
yeah.
like some people have like issues too, where they're just like, man, everything that gets released is so strong. It's because if you play this character, they want it to be strong enough that after like a few times, you have almost a competitive win rate with other people, so you aren't griefing the raid or griefing the game, right? So things like DK, I think, are going to have an even higher play rate than they were going to have, because they're just perceived as so strong right now. And then I think things like Affliction Warlock, even when Affliction Warlock gets fixed, I think people are really going to wait until they see other people show how good it is. They're not going to touch it, right? So it actually has a strong impact on perception and play rate of certain classes and stuff in video games. Humans are really weird, you know, but once you learn the pattern, it makes sense that you're now committed, and not quite a sunk cost fallacy type situation, but more like you've learned it, you know how to navigate it, even if it's weaker, right?
Yeah.
You know what that means,
That's
Crix?
crazy.
What?
You're going to be sneakily pumping when the time comes.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, we know the Warlock fans. We know that they'll fix it. Hopefully, they'll fix it. To be honest, I can't look you in the face and tell you that they're gonna fix it though.
Arms Warriors are in shambles.
What if they don't know how to fix it? I feel like I'm not gonna say I'm worried that they don't fix it, to be honest. So I hope they do though.
They will.
It's gonna hurt Warlocks. Yes, right now Demo's doing great. Destro's doing great. That's gonna fall off, and that's when you would go AF down the road. Right now everything's fucking juicy. Into Sunwall, you're running into the later raids. You're not gonna want to be Destro and Demo. You're gonna want to be AF. And so I hope they really fix it. Otherwise, we're gonna be stuck playing AF with a fucking shitty glyph, and it's crazy. You know what I mean? I hope they fix it, man.
I really
I'm
do
making a
hope
whole
they fix
video
all
about it.
of
I'm gonna make a whole. We're making a big deal about it. I mean, Blizzard, not we, but the Warlock Discord. When I say we, as a whole, we're a team. We're trying to make sure this shit gets right. They changed Demonic Pact, bro. They started a fucking petition in the Warlock Discord on the forums, and then Blizzard changed it. Everybody posted on Twitter and pinged Brian. Brian was like, all right, well, we'll look into it, and then he ended up changing it. So I'm gonna do this exact same thing for the glyph, and we're gonna hope that it works. It's a glyph of quick decay. It makes it so it gives haste affects our corruption, which is obviously a huge deal. And also, I'm a caster guy, so speaking on it, is Shadow Priest as well. I'm gonna make a big deal about that. Is DP, Devouring Plague, and VT are not getting affected by haste as well, and it's supposed to. Based off the Shadow form, and they're not. That's not working either for Shadow Priest. So Shadow Priest, we're pumping well on the PT or on beta, can be doing much better as well, because that's two of their hardest hitting dots not getting affected by haste as well.
Will those massively change Shadow Priest overall, or is Mindseer working
Imagine getting
correctly?
500 haste on two of your 3 dots that are on the boss full time.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Shadow Priest was
massively.
actually already like
There it is.
sneaky.
They were doing
all right.
Yeah.
Apes, or was it Apes? Or I forgot his name. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry, I know you're in here though. But he's absolutely devouring as a Shadow Priest.
Yeah, I've been
And,
really impressed with Shadow Priest damage.
Yeah, dude. Apep,
You
yeah,
know
he
what
was actually carrying a Shadow Priest, and I play a Shadow Priest. I've been playing on beta all the time, and it's just sad because like that's big, man. It's like, and the thing is, I put in I think over 200. I'm talking copy paste, 200 bug reports on the quick decay, 152 like so many on the DP and the VT, and they're just not fixing it, bro. So I want them to fix that shit. Oh, we'll fix it.
200 bug reports.
I'm sure
bro,
they're
get it.
working on it. You know, there are
How
all
does
these- Good.
So how does Shadow Priest scale through the rest of the game? Like,
That's a rogue's question.
I've seen them do well. I've seen them do really well. And I don't know if that's because of tier piece set bonuses or trinkets late game, like Reign of the Dead or something like that. But I've seen them do just fine. I haven't seen them hit any like climaxes at any on any tier where they're like
Yeah.
peaking, and I haven't seen them do really really bad. I've seen them just do really really solid. Not like doing more than say like an Affliction or more than like a Fire Mage in tier 10, but they're solid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've seen.
Yeah, I'm really
Cool.
excited. And Shadow's a lot of fun too. It's a lot of fun. I played all the casters now, and I've been doing heroics on them every day, and I would still say like Shadow Priest is up there. It sucks because in heroics your mind sears fucks, but it's like things die fast. If you fuck around and go in there, like I went in there one time with the Rogues and Sarthe, and I was on a Shadow Priest and they're melee and I couldn't get anything right. So I know in raid it's a lot of fun, man. Actually, Ellie's been the most fun. I'm having so much fun at El Shaman. That's so crazy how much fun it is. I don't see
Also
Well-
incredible right now.
yeah,
It's
really fucking
cool with the Shadow Priest at least. Like if you bring that extra Holy Priest, right, and they go Shadow, you're not really griefing so much because their damage is still good. You know what I mean?
It's superb.
Versus like the shitty ret in shitty ret gear is not going to do that damage. And I don't know, just something to keep in mind.
I feel like
and
in
you get,
terms
like,
of damage,
replenishment,
a Shadow Priest, like in terms of the hybrid, I feel like a healing going into a Shadow would do more damage than the other cast, than like the Boomy or the
For
Rat.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think the red just needs to wait its turn. Damn it!
No, for
the-
sure. But
They're
but
good at
I mean,
leveling.
It's
Yeah.
gonna
if
be
they're
so
gonna
good
wait
when
their
they get
turn,
spin to
what,
win.
in ICC? Like,
Yeah,
who gives a
yeah,
shit by
yeah.
then? That's
Yeah,
that's
that's true.
25% of the game
Sadly.
versus the other
fucking love
75%
you,
of the
Joardee.
game. And so it's like, I mean, I think you want to plan your raid around Ulduar, and then once you're done with Ulduar, you can start thinking about everything else. But until
Yeah,
then-
because we
Naxx
have a whole
25. You
we have a
plan around
whole
Naxx
phase.
25 right now. You can't be caught looking ahead. No.
Poor
Yeah,
Rat,
because in
bro.
between Ulduar, we have a whole phase of like it's just bosses, and it's like, what are you necessarily too worried about? You're working towards ICC, yeah.
yeah. So think about Ulduar, and then you can start thinking about the rest of the game. But
And then trial, yeah. Like boss instances that are purely like almost all bosses. A
Mhm.
little bit of trash.
yeah, we'll see. I think it's gonna be weird flexing your raid to fit a TOGC meta, and it's
Yeah.
probably not gonna feel good, right?
it won't.
Because
It's gonna
because
be
you'll be
whoever's
like,
single targeting
oh,
them.
I guess we're single targeting everything, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it'll be weird.
That's when the
19
Warriors come back.
DKs.
Jeez, dude, that was we were talking about bugs, and I think the one to me that was kind of the most disappointing was just the warrior bugs that were in for Fury and Arms, right? Like
Mhm.
Slam, and then I think it was Juggernaut or whatever. Like, because now it's like a lot of people can lean on those things and say they were bugged and not actually be like they don't know where their class stands. Like everybody's still projecting them to be like towards the bottom, but we actually have like no data at all on them because they're just absolutely useless. Like Affliction Warlock still did some damage and looked like it was going to be mid tier. Then you take away the bugs, it's probably going to be up there. And then you do the same thing with like Shadow Priest. That thing was good. But Warriors are just like, they're non-existent on the meters. And we don't know how much of that was actually the bugs and how much of that was actually just the way that they play now.
Yeah.
It's actually insane because Arms Warrior, their biggest bug is Taste for Blood. When it procs, you literally cannot press overpower. Whether you spellbook it or macro it, you physically cannot click overpower. And it's been in the beta since day one, and they still haven't fixed it. It's such like a crucial bug that it blows my mind because it's genuinely unplayable. That's like one of your, I think that's your number 3, maybe number 4 most damaging ability. I'm kind of guessing here. I'm not a warrior main, but that is a big deal.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, that's rough.
Hey Joardee, while you're we got a footage of the only people to go Undying. You know, it's just beta, but whatever. We take those dubs. Any how
Yeah, it was
was it?
fun.
How was it? How hard was it? Hard? What was the scary parts? Was there anything too crazy?
I don't think these runs are hard. No specific point is hard. It's doing it perfectly the entire run is hard. And it's fun as fuck. Especially as a healer. Oftentimes as a healer, your only real challenge is speed runs or in progression, right? And once you've got that down, you're kind of like, okay,
It's so different.
I just do what I do, and that's whatever. But for these, it's like I can't really get up and go to the bathroom. I can't really like I have to constantly be like vigilant, making sure everyone's doing their job. And there are times where you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. Your heart is racing, and it's like I don't want to fuck up, and it's a blast. And I don't think necessarily that these types of achievements work in the game past this point, right? Like, I think deaths are kind of important in order to like feel the friction of like you pushing it. And so I don't want to necessarily be de-incentivized too much by them, but in this easy as fuck Naxx, it's really fun to like try to play perfect, and it was really fun. The 10-man version is pretty easy. The 25-man version is going to be rowdy. It'll be a much more later
Thaddeus.
phase. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thaddeus and
Sarthe.
and Patchwork. There will be
Horseman.
It's gonna be fun, though.
Yeah, I think that like because it's like only deaths on bosses and stuff like that, I do think that the achievement is going to be a lot easier than people think it is or
Yeah.
thought it would be, because there isn't even a limit on how many healers you bring. You
Sure.
you could 6 heal it, right?
But
and just try to make that just be the way that you do it.
I'm not sure the amount of healers is going to change all that much. Like,
I don't think so, but I'm just saying if you guys are bad, you just bring 6 healers and it'll be easier. I
Sure.
think the healers carry it. And if you're using like 4 healers, 5 healers, or like anywhere from like 3 to 5, it's definitely going to be more challenging than bringing 6, because I feel like DPS checks in Naxx are not really that
Existing.
existent.
It is fun to have a goal other than speedrunning in the way that you format your raid, right?
I'm
And
party
so,
pooper
like,
though, so it's like if I want the
Yeah.
achievement, I'm probably going to bring 6 healers. Be like, yeah, let's just do it this way. And it'll
yeah,
be good.
we
Oh, you
two
only got
healed-
a 6 heal Undying? We did a 5 heal
Yeah.
Undying.
The achievement's the same, man.
Yeah.
I know,
Still
right?
got it.
We're both Undying.
we 2 healed the 10-man, and I would probably want to 5 heal the 25-man. And any more than that, and your damage goes down, and you
Mhm.
might risk running into a mechanic that you don't want to deal with. But it's fun, and the pressure on Saf and the pressure on Kel'Thuzad, dude. Even Thaddeus was just like, holy shit, I can't fuck this up. Was really fun, and so recommend you guys test it out as soon as you can get in there, because also I think they should invalidate the achievement after Naxx isn't current content. I think
Yes,
it's
for
lame that
sure.
you can
They
do
don't?
that.
No.
I think it's
The
expansion
only thing
wide.
the only thing you can't
Date
get
check.
after Naxx isn't current is the mount from the other achievements. The glory of the old
Yeah,
Naxx Raider.
I think that's pretty lame. You should have to use the current tiers gear as you're doing that achievement. But you know, whatever. Blizzard, if you're watching, I accept PayPal.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, I had it, but now I got to find it again. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess my question just is like, this isn't so much like my opinion, but it's more so like a devil's advocate thing. Like, how much should we gatekeep titles and achievements via difficulty to the average player, right? Like, if I do join late, it's impossible for me to get the Undying achievement, but it's like, are you saying there should be a separate one for it? Are you saying just not accessible at all? Because I'll say, like, it does not feel good to be a player in a game who cannot get something anymore, as somebody who played multiple expansions of WoW. And then when I came in later in BFA after I had quit, people had certain items, and I was like, I can't get that. It doesn't exist. People
really cool mounts.
it feels good for
For
the person who
sure.
has the exclusive thing, right? It feels really good for the person who has the exclusive thing, but it doesn't feel that great when you feel like you're behind, or like there's no way for you to actually get something you want.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, I'm just saying, like, as somebody who is a little bit more like elitist myself, I think it's okay to gate it, but at the same time, I know it feels bad to be on the other end of it.
For sure, it's a really good point.
But how much should we make the titles be a prestigious thing, right? Like, if everybody has it, then it's not special, right?
The server first titles are cool. I like that they did that.
Yeah, that feels good to have on beta. Never. We all got it on beta. It was fun. I'll take it. We take those wins.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I don't know the answer, Zirene. It's a good point.
How likely am I to quit the game because other people can get the Undying title versus being somebody who can't get the Undying title? How likely am I to quit the game?
Well, how likely is somebody to quit the game?
Which
because
one
they
is
get
more
a
likely?
title?
Somebody who has the title and thinks that it's not worth anything anymore because everybody can get it eventually, or the person who can't get it?
I feel like it'd be silly to quit the game over not getting a title.
It feels worse to lose $100 than to get $100.
True.
Get $100.
Yeah,
Right,
Fair
law
enough.
version is the same thing.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's just food for thought, you know. I'm just
Yeah.
obviously talking in extremes there, right?
Yeah.
But it's food for thought where I'm just like, I think for them, it doesn't win them really anything to do it. Sadly, I don't know if it's gonna like make the hardcore player, the person who's actually gonna get Undying, still play more or be more dedicated to the game than it is to potentially deter somebody.
I mean, it's so
if,
cool
like,
for people to go back later. Yeah, people would have fun being like, we'll probably see in later phases if they don't gate it, like later phases being like, we're doing a Naxx Undying run,
Yeah.
you know, and like,
Well, this is something that
comms
they
needed.
did in the expansion anyway. In Ulduar, you can go back and kill Algalon on 10-man if you want to get Herald of the Titans. You just have to equip nothing that is higher than 239 eye level, I believe. So you can wear old 25 gear. Going off the top of my head here, but you can't use any like hard mode 25-man loot. And so you can do that throughout the entire expansion. You just need to have sets
That's
ready.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. So
that aren't
that's
high
like
level.
that's the solution where you have to beat it with certain eye level gear, right? That's kind of the win-win there. Instead of just like beat it when it's like the content. That's
It's great.
That is actually that is the solution.
And
'Cause
they figured it
probably
out.
had this problem. They probably had this
Yeah,
problem, right?
Yeah, they already
So.
figured it out. It's a good point.
Well,
Well, damn. Sometimes they do make good game design decisions because
Yeah.
these problems pop up, man. And you sit there and you go, shit. Like, how can we have everybody win? You know, how can we still make it hard but accessible, but not too hard, but also make it like something that's not unobtainable? So,
you guys think they'll be ready by the time launches here, bro? With all the bugs and stuff? Are you worried? Is anybody worried?
They have Alpha Flight to deal
bugs are
with.
weird, dude. Bugs are weird.
Two different teams. I'm not worried about
You
that.
fix a warlock bug, you create a shadow priest bug. Like shit like that happens all the time. So bugs are really weird, especially with the ones that are this extreme, because this is in a much worse state than classic beta or TBC beta in
Yeah.
terms of the way classes perform. And there, I guess, how many bugs are stopping classes from performing. It's much more egregious. I can't think of like insane bugs on TBC beta except that I like didn't have a belt. Like that's basically it. There wasn't too much that was hindering.
Oh yeah,
my
there was no
enjoyment of the
belt
game.
slot or something. What was that
Your
again?
belt was invisible, so I had
Oh
like a
yeah,
crop
yeah,
top.
yeah, yeah. I remember.
I was a
that.
dwarf in a
Yeah,
crop
yeah.
top. It was
Yeah. That's a
great.
Hello. Y'all not remember? I showed up to raid for like 4 weeks straight, chugging Week's Troll's blood.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that was they
my
changed
bags
that.
were
Oh
full.
yeah, I do
They
remember
changed
that.
the tick shit. Yeah. That was a change that they made because that wasn't a bug, right? That was necessarily they just changed the way the energy functioned.
Energy worked. Yeah.
Yeah, or ticks worked.
Mm-hmm.
How about that
Yeah, that
fucking
Shit like that. I love when shit breaks and you
that
can
seed
make
bug Warlocks
use of
had
it.
and at in beta, and they never fixed it. I don't know how many
I'm-
bug reports I put in for that.
See, this is why I
The
like want
entirety of
warriors.
TBC, we had a seed bug where one of our targets were not getting affected by seed.
Really? Oh.
It's still going
Wait,
on.
really?
Now. To this day,
Really?
still going on. Still not fixed yet. I don't know how many bug reports.
Just randomly, one of the targets doesn't get hit, or what?
You can blow it up yourself, but and nobody in raid can blow it up. Some shit. Some stupid ass thing never got fixed.
Oh wait. Oh, you're the only person who can detonate the seed.
Mhm.
Is that what it is?
Pretty stupid. Yeah, they never fixed it.
Oh.
It's not. It does. It works fine in the beta though. The new beta, which is great. But
Interesting.
like it works in Lich King, so that's cool. But now Quick
Huh.
Decay doesn't. So hopefully they didn't replace one bug with another bug, because I would rather take that seed bug than the fucking Quick Decay bug for sure.
Yeah, and I to you guys mentioned the weak Troll's Blood stuff. I'm like, that's one of the things that's a big bummer for me is the warrior bugs, because in my opinion, the two most rabid fan bases to make their class good are warriors and feral druids. Like, it does not matter if their class is bad. They're gonna fucking find something to make it good. They're gonna try they're gonna use a weak Troll's Blood potion, right? They're gonna do everything in their power, every consumable they could ever go. Even if you got to do something arbitrary, like do a level 29 dungeon for 2 hours.
Yeah,
before
every day.
raid. Yeah, you got to do all these backfires to hit Felmist in the air. Like, they will try everything. And the thing is I think like warrior stuff trickles down to a larger percentage of their player base than like the average class. Like, if one class starts doing something, enhancement shamans are like, I don't really have to do that. Like, they're like, I don't have to do the backfires. You know, the warriors will take care of it or whatever. And then the warrior player's like, no, I got to do the I got to do it. I have to do it, or else you're not competitive even in the slightest.
Yeah.
So,
And then the
That's why
shamans
I'm
are like,
upset about
I have to
bugs.
do it too now, because now my
Mhm.
warriors are giving me a hard time. We had a shaman today that didn't have it, and it was called out instantly.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Deanne said
Shaman privilege, man. I am happy for shaman privilege to be gone, because right now the way it works in TBC, the shaman could sleep with the GM's wife and still have a raid spot. Like you are that needed. Like you're like, oh, they're enhancer shamans, they're resto shamans. You guys okay? Oh, it's okay. You were late to raid. That's all right. 20 minutes late. It's like somebody else is. It's like, man, that's your third warning. Like, it's like he's later than me. It's like he's playing shaman.
Hey,
he gets to do that.
How are you guys dealing with your shamans re-rolling?
They all want to roll DK, so it's nice anyway.
Okay.
Like, all the enhancements are like, well, I guess Oro's like, oh, well, I play spell enhance, and then everybody else is like, I want to play DK, and when we don't tell them no, then they're happy, I guess.
Okay, yeah, good. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, I don't know about what you guys are doing, because they want to play like HPAL or DK, so.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where everything's falling.
Because
you still need one resto shaman, but you bring one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Someone needs to press Bloodlust.
So
yeah,
Spell enhance.
Yeah. Oh, that was the thing that was like crazy to me when I was looking at like raid setups. Is like, obviously you need like at least 2 paladins, so like maybe prot and 1 holy, or 2 holy and then you use a different tank, like I was saying, like prot warrior or something.
Yeah.
But then the rest of your healers, you want like a disc priest, and then a lot of people are saying like you want a druid for revitalize, and I'm sitting there going, I kind of want something that's going to increase the inspiration uptime on me. So like a shaman or like a holy priest, right? So like from a tank perspective, I'm like, I just don't know how much damage revitalize is just yet. And you said like people ran the numbers and it seemed good. Like Wild Growth, I think, is probably the one that's doing the most work there, because it's AOE. But
yeah, I'm not super concerned about tanks getting gived, at least what I've felt from Naxx.
Crushing blows are gone and stuff, yeah.
But I mean, who knows in Old War? So,
true.
Little tip about inspiration: if you're looking to get more inspiration uptime, I'm telling you right now, Holy Priest is statistically the worst healer to keep it up, because they literally have the lowest crit of like any healer, because they do not go for it at all. They're going for spirit haste items 9 times out of 10 until they hit their haste caps, and so crit is like really hard for them to obtain. So they're just gonna have very, very low crits.
Yeah, and Resto Shaman has like Riptide, and that increases their critical percentage of I think it's Chain Heal or something, by like 25% or the Healing Wave or something.
Right.
So like they crit pretty frequently to keep.
So if that matters
up.
to you, yeah, Resto Shaman's way better for that.
Yeah, in the future it might just be one of the plays to keep it up, but I don't know. If stuff hits harder, we'll see.
Dan says the sim community has a public GitHub that WoW devs actively comment on. So for any of the major ones you think need to be submitted, talk to your class Discord and SimWriter. Is 100% correct, except for I'm one of the admins in the WOTLK Discord. And then the main admin, Zephin, he is the guy who does the sims, and they still didn't fix our seed bug, and they still haven't fixed quick decay. So yeah, I hope, but we'll see.
Should we go to your list?
Yeah, I was gonna say anything else before we go to the main one. All right, this is the fun
Everybody
stuff, boys.
loves tier lists.
All right.
I can't wait to get clipped and memed.
Clip and ship.
I think I might not. No,
Well, this is going to be phase 1. I don't know how we're going to split it between speedrunning and damage, or how we want to do this. I guess we can put it as a.
I think we could try to think of both, like, right? Is there like, should there be like a double S tier? You know, I feel like some classes are like S tier and some are like just peaking above, but calling them A makes it like phonetically feel bad, right? Like, don't people like kind of like generally are like, A tier's not nearly as good.
So yeah, what? So like, as somebody who's made a lot of like public lists to get criticized in the past, yeah, like double SS plus tier, whatever. You have to define the criteria of it ahead of time. So it's like, how
do we want to do it?
Are we like rating things based on how much DPS they do, or are we factoring their raid utility? If there was only one of them in the raid, right? Like, what or the stackability of the class? Like,
it's so impossible. It's impossible.
But that's the thing is you have to just make, because other people are going to look at your list and they're going to do it by their own criteria and be like, why would that be there? Like that thing, why would it brings lust to the raid? Like it's an S plus. Like it's better than that.
We can do one, because we have to do quite a few episodes. We're actually gonna do a couple in 1 week, because we're starting class deep dives next week, and we can do one at the end of them too. So we can do a regular one, just a pure DPS one, and then the next episode we can do, okay, this is speed running top phase 1 or something like that, and then utility or overall. That would work. I don't know.
Okay,
that makes sense. We want to do that. Sarthe, what do you think?
The interesting thing is, I think a lot of us we all think about overall, and we also notice the single target. So it's hard to define, like to factor in.
Here. Let's do 4 tier lists at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Hey man,
and-
people tell me
Let's
to do a
just do-
tank
let's
tier
just
list, and
do
I'm like, all right, it's gonna be
damage
4 lists
for Naxx,
Just all in different
damage
order.
for Naxx, right?
Yeah.
This is focused on Naxx. We should do damage for Naxx. Sarthe 3D, it's like you're stacking your single target DPSers super hard, but Naxx, there's even fights that have a lot of cleave and stuff, right?
Okay.
So like,
So I guess the
Yeah,
way
that's
the way I would want to do it is I would want us to try and judge how much damage the class does overall, but also factor into their damage the contribution they would have to a raid damage wise.
That's how I like to do it too.
Okay.
and
that,
that's
like-
kind of how Warcraft Logs is thinking about doing it, right? Because
That's how they do Final Fantasy 14 logs. And it's run by the same person. Yeah, if you go
Yeah.
to Final Fantasy 14 logs, they have 2 categories for DPS. One is RDPS, and then the other one I think is like EDPS or something like that. If you mouse over it, it'll say damage taken and damage given. So you mouse over a bard, they have like 5k DPS, and it'll say they gave 3k to somebody else, and right,
Humper.
and then their real damage that showed up on the meter was 2k. But then the log took it and said they actually contributed 5k
That would be
damage.
so dope.
And so, yeah,
Yeah.
it works like that. It's a
Holy
lot
crap.
easier to do in Final Fantasy logs. You could pull it up
Did
right
you
now
play
and
that?
actually look at it. I played it a little bit at the very beginning when it became a Realm Reborn. And
Yeah.
a lot of those things are like actually just flat damage increases or like percentage damage increases. So it's a lot harder to do for WoW because
Sure.
there's some things where you're just like, I don't know how much is 5 stack of Sunder really added. So
All right.
it's a little harder to do.
He says, pretend you're not. Yeah, we're not going to do this. Won't be. We'll have a different one about this, like a speedrunning tier list next time or something.
Yeah.
That's going to be very different, right? BM Hunters. Did anybody try BM Hunter raid? That's another problem. We didn't even see all these in raid. Did anybody even try to see a
Right.
BM Hunter? I think we just assumed it was ass and nobody really tried it.
What we should
not-
do is have a category where like we
No
have
comment.
no information.
No,
Because
yeah.
Arms Warrior, we didn't see any because it's
No comment.
literally
How about that?
broken. And because just
or like not enough info, because that's
Yeah.
more.
not enough info seems good to me. I
like
agree.
that. Here we go.
Hell, you
Are
may
we
as well
okay
put
with-
Affliction Lock there too.
Yeah, what are we putting here?
Arms
Do you want to do it
Warrior.
ahead of time?
Arms Warrior for sure.
DKs, EKs, Boomies, Feral, Red, everything seems
Do you
to
want
be
to try
okay.
to?
I think we're good.
Think you could rank Affliction Lock
Yeah, it's still fucking.
app correctly?
Did Fury Warrior have an issue
I mean,
with
it-
Slam?
I don't
where
know,
It was
no.
like resetting their swing timer still. That's what I heard is that Fury Warriors weren't able to use instant slam without it like still resetting their swing timer or blocking their swing timer from going off or starting.
I'm not sure. So then maybe.
And
as well.
that's what I
I've
heard.
seen
I don't know
some
if that's true or
decent
not. So if
Fury
somebody can
logs,
confirm that for me.
especially with like
I didn't see enough
pre-Fox
of
and
them.
like full pre-aid bis.
Yeah.
So I saw some pretty solid
Okay.
logs from him. But if they're still bugged, then we don't know how they're really going to perform.
Yeah. So Deon's, I trust him. He's very, very informed. He says that his slam is resetting / blocking your swing timer. So
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Thank
Instant
you, Deon.
slam was resetting your swing timer. So any procs you got would just actually be a DPS loss.
All right.
So don't know where I would put Fury. I'd have a hunch. but-
Survival Hunters.
Okay, they're sick. Their overall damage is really strong, and their single target is really strong. But they're not gonna beat out on the top DPS people on single target or on overall. But good hunters are doing a lot more damage than your average hunter. They're probably A tier. I would say at the top of A tier, survival hunter is doing really well, and they're gonna continue to do really well. They get a lot of AoE damage with their traps, and explosive shot is more of their damage than anything else, even on overall meters. I think they're gonna be really strong. They're the single target spec too. That's like should be pumping like 3rd to 4th DPS a lot of times.
I disagree. I thought it was S tier. They pump. Like when I remember looking at remember you were in a full template hunter and you were keeping up with,
Is he
the
playing
gear-
marksman?
Yeah, I was playing marksman,
gear.
though.
Oh, that was marksman. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be like at the bottom of S tier, but at the very top of A tier. They are very, very solid, right? Like really fucking strong. I think ideally, if it was like my situation, I would be playing like a marksman marksman on overall build, and then I would like before boss switch to survival, and then it would be like S tier. But like on overall, it falls behind the marksman build slightly.
So then where are you putting marksman?
I would put marksman in S tier.
Anybody else here
I
want
think
to
marksman
time on
is
them?
so strong right now.
They
It's
seem really
crazy.
good. I'm excited to play it.
Yeah. It is, all hunter specs are really, not all, I guess, because we haven't seen BM, but they're really, really strong, and they're really strong on both single target and strong on overall. Hunters just get this crazy AoE damage now. That's fucking so
I
fun.
think the pet change too of them taking way less damage makes the pet classes much more viable.
Yeah.
And they should, I mean, hunters, especially with TBC, put a lot of work into theory crafting the fuck out of themselves, and that their Discord's really strong, and
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be a lot of optimization going in. We'll see if they have a place in a speedrun scenario. I have a feeling you're going to be doing less like pulls like you did in vanilla, and more just like face pull everything. And hunters are really good when you're doing regular pulls like that, but we'll see.
I think they really shine though if we end up pulling bigger, and that's where we will do, even though we don't have the AoE cap and stuff right now. Like I think hunters really shine moving throughout a raid. They're very consistent damage throughout a whole raid, and then also they can do very good single target. But their single target, the only downside is it's not the best single target. They also do bring like attack power buff, but you've got DKs with that. Survival Hunter brings replenishment. You've got Shadow Priest with that, but also Ret. But realistically, Ret in this tier is one of the weaker classes.
The Shadow Priest bring replenishment?
Yes. But replenishment also, it doesn't, like, more is good because your uptime is it doesn't, it's not always up, and so the more you have, the more up it is, and that's good.
Yeah,
Should be up quite a bit, especially if there's like a Shadow Priest in there. I don't know what's up most of the time with the Shadow Priest.
It doesn't hit everyone though.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's
Okay.
10 targets.
Okay. There.
If you have one and another one goes up by somebody else, does it prioritize people that don't already have it?
I guess the smart buff.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
That's
I'm
actually a
not-
pretty good
That is
question.
a good question.
Chat.
Really good question.
Hive mind. Is replenishment a smart thing where it just goes to people who don't have it, or will it overlap?
I feel like Simon Eyes would have tested that. He knows
Right?
everything.
Fucking Simon Eyes is on our next ep. We're doing Rogue Deep Dive either next week or
Yeah.
the next episode or the next one after that, and Simon Eyes is on it. I'll probably get one more person, Multis or someone in there who's been
Yeah.
on the beta. Okay. Fury Warriors. Can I do this, or am I an asshole?
I think they're C. But
Now,
they are
talk
the
about
they're
it.
climbing
But
the
they're
mountain,
bugged.
man. They're climbing the mountain.
Are they
They're-
bugged? Is Fury bugged?
Yeah, Deon said it. They're bugged. So they are bugged. Yes. How much does that mean?
What's bugged?
He would have to say.
Even
Slam.
with bug, I'd say C. I've watched
They're-
I was watching Prefox, who was geared as fuck and knew what he was doing in that fucking raid, and he was doing good. I mean, they overall, if on the trash, he was still, as you can imagine, they were still Cleve City.
They're
But
Goku
I couldn't see
going
him hit
into
4K,
the-
bro.
Into the little time capsule.
Hyperbolic time chamber.
And and they're gonna train.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna send them cookies.
What a good
and
analogy.
keep them alive and ready to go until they bloom into beautiful.
Bug because
stay out of this
they're in
one.
C tier and there's no D tier.
Yeah.
Hey, be nice.
I'm really excited to play my Fury Warrior in Wrath. I'm really excited about it. Hello at Me will shine.
Warriors are good, bro. They're gonna be, eventually one day they'll be phenomenal.
The biggest scale. Yeah. Actually, from my understanding, which this might be wrong, but from my understanding, the biggest scaler might be Fire Mage. Like, obviously Warrior, but the biggest at scaling from some things I've heard. But I have no idea.
Like
how
late in the game, like ICC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
My recollection of ICC in original Wrath of the Lich King is the top of the meters was like Fire Mage, Fury Warrior, Frost DK were like the three, and then there was Rogue. So those are like
Yeah.
the four that I remember. But I remember Fire Mage coming out of nowhere back then. That's just what I remember. That's like in my head, the damage meter, just like that's what I remember, is just seeing a Fire Mage near the top every time.
I'd be willing to bet Fury Warriors are very competitive in Old War.
I think so too.
That's
They're
what I
so
said.
good
Yeah,
at
I mean,
theory
I agree.
crafting.
I agree. I don't think
Because-
they're gonna take too long to get good. I think they're gonna
Remember
ramp up early.
See, we were like Fury Warriors are dead. And then in SSC, Noda ran 6 Fury Warriors and
Dude.
they blasted. And this is one of those expansions where no one's saying Fury Wars are dead. They're just not as good right now. So if that data point lines up, it's just going to be like, okay, they're gonna pump.
Dude, they're gonna figure it out.
I actually just went and I found this from like one of the podcasts I did with Snow a year ago. This was the composition that got me Giga Flamed by people back in the day.
Comp they used.
This is
Or is it
4/6/2021. This is over a year ago. I was saying Fury Warriors and TBC were going to be incredibly good for speedrunning, and then I got like absolutely blasted all shit for it. It was so bad.
I like that one affliction lock that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Well, you
the
curse a
only-
wreck, bro. You need curse a wreck.
Yeah, but I mean, you can test
Yeah.
that, right?
you would the group comp. I would maybe move stuff.
Yeah,
around,
obviously.
but
Like this was before I
that's-
understood like
Good
group
guess
comps
though.
and
That was a
DM
very
and
good.
shit like that, right?
This speculation. He did amazing at that.
Yeah,
That's what
it was just based on like strength of class and not necessarily group.
Jace
So I get the
Priest over Holy Priest. You
Prot
mad?
Warriors.
because
Warrior.
I value pain sup. Yeah, the Prot Warrior became
Sure.
a feral, and then like some of the other things changed too. Like you had another resto instead of like another was it
Prot
another
Warrior.
healer?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'd Prot Warrior in there because I didn't think they were gonna fall off hard enough in going into TBC because of Fury Prot was just insane.
Yeah.
But Feral's just better, right?
Yeah,
Feral
that
just
This is
adds
like
more.
it feels like I'm
yeah.
looking at the crayon drawing of a child prodigy. Like this is it's like this is genius. It's just not quite mature enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
one of those
getting-
things where like I have the like I already made a skeleton for what I thought like this speedrun stuff will look like.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it's gonna be though, and like you
For
said, it's like a
listening?
it's like a drawing. It's like a crown drawing. This is what I have as my base right now. The things that
would-
I think are required, and then I want
we're
to figure out what
gonna-
classes I stack.
One of the things at the very end, we're going to go over an optimal comp, so that's kind of convenient. Oh shit,
Yeah.
I messed up the.
It's something that
podcast.
I'm like I gotta figure out and like finagle a few more things, and then figure out what classes I want to stack and what situations I think
This
we'll
is
be
your
able
Wrath
to capitalize on.
Wrath core.
This is the beginning of my Wrath core.
Yeah.
Right. Because I cover basically all buffs and debuffs, but I don't know exactly the value of them just yet and what I can
can't
remove and not
believe
keep.
you're doing.
You're out of your mind with your tanks, dude.
You know what? Let it. I'm honestly so excited to see how it works. I can't wait, and I'm really grateful that you're going to be testing this with real effort. And
Yeah.
so that's awesome.
Yeah, it just feels like for me, I'm just somebody who values armor debuffs very heavily, and I know that if you were stacking warlocks, you obviously wouldn't. But I feel like Sunder armor is very underappreciated. Having a rogue do it is like a DPS loss, and in Naxx, like nothing's hitting hard enough for me to really warrant wanting to take the other things. Right? That's the big thing for me. Is that I think this is the only tier that'll happen.
It's a good point, and this is a Naxx.
I'm getting
core,
away with. I'm
not
trying to get away
a-
with murder because shit doesn't hit hard enough. Like,
Multis will never let you get away with this.
he's playing Prot Warrior too.
All right. Well, whatever.
And so is I think Fark from private servers.
Fark
Fark is? Yeah.
He told me that he thinks that Rage Gen might be bugged because it's 3 times what it is on Warmain for Prot Warriors getting hit.
Really?
Yeah, he's like,
That's
I don't know if it's
interesting.
bugged or not, but you're getting 3 times as much rage here than you do on Warmain by getting hit. So I don't know.
Okay, I have half an hour, so let's.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
go
yeah,
through
yeah.
this.
Look at this
Anyway,
comment.
back to the
Ruggs
tier
looks
list.
like he works for Disney.
He's just
All
trying
right,
to keep it
yeah,
back.
yeah.
He's just
Okay,
trying
next.
to keep it back.
Next,
It's okay.
Warlocks, Affliction. I'm not gonna put not enough info because we have enough info. We're missing a fucking glyph. I think we're A with the
I
glyph
would-
or S. A glyph works S. A
I'd say
glyph works
they're
S.
S plus is my feeling, but
I mean, I'm down for
As
that.
Affliction?
But, I say Affliction's A with our glyph working. It'll be a S. That's what I think personally. And tier
Glyph
7.
it's gonna
Remember,
work. We
tier
have
7,
to assume it's
short
gonna work,
fights.
right?
You're not even gonna be Affliction for all the fights in there. Even if it was working right, you're gonna be Destro or Demo Destro hybrid. You're not gonna always be Affliction. It's not the best single target spec. Period. What anybody thinks, I don't care. So I don't think it's gonna be S.
S is good.
Are we gonna assume that they're gonna if they don't fix our glyph? If they do fix our glyph,
If
Are they
Crix
better
is
than,
saying it's not S plus,
Are they better than Marksman Hunters?
I think they will be if they fix our glyph. I honestly don't. I kind of like don't think they're gonna fix our glyph for some reason. Maybe I'm just a doomer or something.
They have
I
to,
hope
dude.
so. I hope so. If they don't,
They
I think we're
have
still
to.
fine at A tier. They're still gonna blast. I did one raid as Affliction. I was still pumping with our corruption being all fucked up in our glyph. If they fix it, I think it goes up some. Old War, obviously, we're not talking about Old War. We're only talking about tier 7. I'm gonna put an S because I hope that they fix it.
Definitely S.
Demonology Warlock tier 7. I want to say S as well.
S
And I want to
fucking
Yep.
plus on overall, but
So does left to right matter on the tier list for
Yes.
the categories?
We can. We can make it
Oh, is
matter.
there a ranking within the
Yeah, we
left
can
or
make it
right
matter.
Yeah,
menu?
yeah.
Interesting.
That always makes it spicier.
can make it matter.
Specificity is nice.
There you go.
Demo would be the front of that.
Yeah, I would put Demo ahead of Av or at least.
I
It
would
allows
put
you the
Demo
opportunity to
S
be more
plus
wrong.
personally.
I
Also
would.
more
You're just
I think
like
Demo's
laying
S plus.
landmines out all across this for yourself right now. Why are you doing this? Just
It's
Really?
because if everything was just really tame, nobody gets upset.
sure,
right?
sure.
And then
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
people aren't
no, you're a
talking about
genius.
you, then you're doing it
genius.
wrong, right?
I heard-
Okay,
I
So
heard a-
if you
I
don't
heard
have
a-
haters, you're doing it wrong.
I heard a Demo and S tier from Rox. S plus. I mean.
Right, so we said at the top of this, we're talking about overall damage, a raid cleave, but we're also considering utility a little bit. Utility is a little bit in this. The value that a demo brings to a raid is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big spell power buff to your raid on
Huge.
top of the fact that their overall is right up there with all the best specs, which we will get to, no spoilers. I think they're a clear S plus to me.
I
It's
think
the
so,
same
too.
damage, but with more utility.
To
I
give you a
agree.
perspective, Pummel, the guy, my homie Pummel, him and I were able to get 430, 440 dark demonic packs without even actually really min maxing it. Just kind of like, oh look, we got a proc, send our pet in before they fixed it. So we're giving you 420 plus. Spell
So-
on a good, they call it pet twisting. On a good fucking slap down, you're gonna get like a 450 to all your casters from your demo lock.
Which is huge utility. That's crazy. And their overall damage, like Metamorphosis is crazy. Immolation Aura, obviously, when it's running, they're seeding and doing really, really good, like solid overall. Warlocks can move quickly at all times because they've got life tap. And I mean, they're even life tapping to buff themselves now. And then like their single target is also very, very solid. This is a fucking wow. Like so strong from what I'm seeing.
I guess my question here, obviously not to like affect the tier list or something like that, is if I already had a demo lock in the raid, does it go below Affliction on the list? Just
Great question.
not to change it, but just to be like to explain to people. Are you stacking demo locks?
Well,
you stacking
if we're
Affliction
talking
if you have the
about,
opportunity,
there are builds that if you were to run a demo lock, if you run 2 demo locks, one was trying to do damage, there's another build that they would go that could give them more damage. So if you remove, if this is I say S tier and we're making it S plus because of the buff, then yeah, I would put the hybrids down here, which we can. There are a lot of hybrid. There are a couple different hybrid specs too.
Yeah, put it back in the S plus tier, but I'm just saying like.
Yeah. But yeah,
I was just wondering how much
the
they
buff,
have diminished value, right?
Yeah, I would say
That
if
was
you're
all.
not bringing that buff, I'd put him down to S because the
Gotcha.
hybrid is S, and I would say Destro's at S as well, but lower S. They're slapping. They just don't bring any utility. You bring replenishment, but you're not going to need them for the replenishment. But I mean, I would say
I feel like
low S, high A. Destro
I
slaps.
think high A. I've seen. I mean, at least from everything I've seen, Survival's slightly beating out on overall and single target of Destro right now. From what I've seen, for the most part, have you seen a lot of different?
Yeah, but we can't use that at the same time because even me, I have not even done a full raid as Destro the whole time. Every fucking boss, I'm switching specs. I'm hearthing out, respecking, coming back. We haven't even. I don't. But you are right. Yeah. So yeah, you could say that at the same time because I would say if I had to put anything down, I would probably say like A plus or like the low end of S, and then that demo hybrid, the demo Destro hybrid, higher than this. It'd be like a notch higher than this because that's actually even more damage with the solid execute, and execute's important.
I feel like this is the moment of truth. If you put it in the S tier or the A tier, it changes the where our graph is going to be located in terms of are there going to be more things in BA or AS, right?
I think you put
Yeah.
it in A.
Yeah.
Well, at the same
think it
time
gives
as,
you a
but at
be-
the same time as
better range.
S, it's beating Affliction on a few fights.
But
So for the same reason we have Affliction up here, assuming the glyph gets fixed,
What's the overall
why
though?
would that be down there? Oh yeah, overall. I mean, the overall is amazing. It's not that it's amazing as a.
He dropped
as
it
a-
right away.
Well, the overall is fine as a. It's just this is the overall king for Warlocks. We're just spamming Seed of Corruption and hoping to get close enough through Shadow Flame. We have Seed of Corruption and Shadow Fury. Shadow Fury fucks. It's an instant cast. It crits for 5k on every mob around there with no cap. Like this, Shadow Fury is
No
fucking
cap?
broken. Yeah, it just goes on unless they add.
Shadow Fury's
Unless
supposed
they
to have no
add a cap. Unless they add like whatever. There's no AoE cap right now, right? It's like bugged out.
Yeah, it's
So yeah, the overall is fine as a Destro lock. I would say it's overall these two together are going to be kind of. I mean, quick decay working. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Wow.
see like and single target and stuff. I'm just going off of all of the information I've seen and like numbers that I've seen and logs. I'm curious. I think they're A tier. but that's maybe, I guess, maybe a bias, but I also think Destra or Demonology is the S plus, right? Like I was like, they're insane,
Yeah,
right?
I think top of A.
I think they're on AA. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going bottom S.
You going bottom S?
Yep.
All right.
going
All right.
against the
What
grain.
else do we
Vote
got?
time.
I
It's a
know,
vote time, boys.
I just think
This
you
is
guys haven't.
representative
This
of
is
all
vote,
you guys
yeah.
haven't
seen.
uneven numbers. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I just think
This
you guys
is the
haven't
vote.
seen a good Destro lock yet. Is what the problem is. I think you just haven't seen an all-out Destro lock with the AoE with the.
But
you know,
then
in the
how does that
overall and trying
not
hard.
also
My
mean
vote's-
we
my
don't have
vote's
enough
A.
info?
That's true. Well, okay.
Doesn't that mean we don't have
is,
enough
We're
is
info? Then
Destro better than Survival?
I don't.
Ooh, that's a
Survivals
good.
survivals bring replenishment, right?
Like
So
Destro
is
brings
Destro- so does Destro.
replenishment.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, improved
Okay, so
foliage.
so it's. I mean, that's the question: is Destro better than Survival or not?
Destro has
that
higher
is the
single
question.
target. I would say it has higher single target, less AoE, less overall.
I think survival.
Less overall?
On logs, survival would beat the Destro.
On
9 times out of
overall,
10.
I think
right?
it.
Let's
I,
just
I
let's
think it
just
would.
pick
I think it
something
would
and
too.
keep going.
I think it would too. I think survival
Yeah,
would
we
be
need to pick
overall
something.
because of all that they have. Survival
Yeah.
has
It beats
insane
overall?
AoE, dog.
Yeah.
In the same breath, I've only seen Sarthe doing good on a survival hunter, so I can say the same thing. I haven't even seen any other survival hunter besides Sarthe doing good AoE. You know what
But
I mean?
I've seen
but
I've seen
we
good.
care about the upper
hunter
limit
logs.
of things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We care about the potential of something, the 0.01% performer. Like,
I
what
just want
is
you
the
guys to
class
remember this
capable of?
when the game is actually out and they're way up here, and I'm going to come back to this conversation next.
All right.
Frost.
That is true. We don't have
Nyx.
it's we've had a weekend of raids,
Mhm.
right? Like yeah.
Frost
Frost.
DKs.
Oh my god, holy shit. DKs are so strong.
I don't know anything
I'll
about
let you
this.
guys.
It's all you guys.
I'll let you guys say your opinion first because
I think
I'm
Frost.
I
is
think it's
S.
top of S.
I think it's
Yeah.
top of S as well. I wouldn't put Frost in S plus personally. I think Sarthe might, but truthfully, I think it's top of S. It's a clear winner overall against
Yep.
these other classes that it's next to. But yeah,
I
that's for me.
I am right there. I think Frost is the right at that cusp of being S plus. Frost is insane. I think it's gonna do so well on overall and single target. It's this is just one of the strongest classes in general, right? Death Knights are unreal, and like a longer fight, Frost takes over and pumps those single targets. We were talking about it earlier, playing around the bugged things and not playing with anything bugged. They're just so powerful. And if we move faster in the raid, Naxx, like as things die faster, Frost scales up even higher because you just get like these crazy Howling Blast crits. Like you get that in before everything dies, and a lot of other classes kind of need to ramp up damage. Frost doesn't have this ramp up thing. It's just like it's for their AoE, it's proc based and stuff, and for their single target, it's very sustainable. Frost is absolutely top of S tier.
What about anybody else want to chime in on that? Are you guys agreeing with that? What about
I
everybody?
agree.
Let's move on.
It's
Bring up
also
Unholy.
very easy to play. Frost
Yes.
is incredibly easy to play. So
Yeah,
your average Frost DK will do well.
very much. Yeah, absolutely.
What about the good old Unholy? Not sigil bugged.
Ebon Plague is an insane ability.
Good
I think
on-
it's also S.
Yeah.
Would
maybe
you put
just
it
look
right
at-
here?
I
That's
put it
kinda
S
what I was
plus.
thinking.
I put it
Yeah,
at the
put it
bottom
S
of S plus
The bottom of S plus.
without the bug sigil and without the bugs. I put it at the bottom of S plus.
Yeah. I think if Ebon
Oh,
Plague wasn't a
man.
factor, then they'd
You
be below
morbers,
Frost.
get out of here.
I think they'd be
You-
below Frost if Ebon Plague wasn't something I was factoring in, but just the AoE Curse of Elements is just nutty.
Yeah,
So,
right.
that's what pushes them above
That
me.
utility is just crazy strong, right?
Yeah.
And
I
they're
think-
overall they're always doing so much to like fight. It will even out as things die faster. As I was saying, but if like bosses die faster, their single target burst is unreal, right? Their single target burst with the gargoyle is unreal. When we're not talking about the bugged gargoyle still, and they even out. I think Frost will beat them on a longer fight.
What's the
but,
cooldown
like,
on Garg again?
3 minutes.
3.
Okay.
You have it up for every boss fight in Naxx.
So we're going
You don't have it
know
up
about
for
that.
every boss fight.
tip top
in-
of S or S plus?
not every.
No,
One's been trying to say something.
legit. I'd put Holy above Demo. Unholy is above Demo, and I'm sure I'm the only one on the call who thinks that, and that's considering the fact that we would get a normal, sigil situation.
Yeah.
They are still going to do more overall than Demo Lock, providing AoE Curse of Elements, providing the unique disease damage debuff, really survivable. Like they'll survive any mechanic really high skill ceiling. I'm telling you right now, you take 2 really, really good players, one on Frost TK, one on Unholy. The Unholy is going to do more damage overall. The Unholy will win in Naxx.
I think the
Overall.
Unholy. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think I have to agree with them. I think Unholy is gonna beat Demo.
So
in my opinion.
okay,
But it's
fair,
hard because
fair.
we're going to have so much criticism realistically because of the bugs, right? They are scripted better than they will be, but I think a really good Unholy, even like obviously like we did Naxx and like I took off my sigil and stuff. So you're using a pretty garbage sigil, but you just have garbage sigils right now anyways. Unholy is just so strong, man.
Fair.
Let
It
the
is-
record show, I don't agree, but
yeah, I don't agree either because this is buffing all your casters and your healers in your raid by 450 fucking spell power.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I think it just.
Okay, yeah.
I'm fine with it
elements
not
on all the
being above.
ads are cool, but all those ads die in fucking 2 seeds anyway.
Yeah, I don't. I personally am fine with it not being above Demo. I think it will be, but that's just like we're gonna have to see, right?
Okay, can they tie?
Yeah.
nope,
They
that's
tie.
not how tier lists work, man.
That's not. Yeah, so people are gonna screenshot it and be like, "You're an idiot if you think this way."
We're getting flamed no matter what. We're trying to have fun and do a list, and people are gonna flame us. Okay, boom daddies. I want to start by saying that I didn't see too many boomies out there wilding out. I saw Classic
good when
doing
they're
some
not
raids.
pulling
I saw
extra trash.
Darcy doing some good raids. Well, that's because they're dumb and not using the glyph focus like they should be using, and that limits the radius of their starfall to 20 instead of 30 yards or 36 yards or whatever. And Darcy was pumping. I seen Classic Go pump. I wasn't really seeing a lot of the boomies clap, so I don't feel like, unless you guys did. I know they fuck. I would say S tier because of knowing Boomy, but did you guys see anything crazy about him to move him out of A or like?
No, I feel like everything I've seen, every log and stuff, and like scalability and stuff. I think Boomy is A. I was actually expecting S. I was actually expecting S, and I think it's performing at an A tier.
I haven't seen any of them go crazy on single target for some reason, but that could be attributed to like no add-ons and people not knowing the rotation. Like, because Boomy is one of those classes where you're not. So it's people think you just keep up 2 dots and you spam for your clips, but you don't. You don't keep up both dots. You put the dot that you're hunting for. You're fishing for one proc. You put that dot up, and vice versa. I don't know if people are doing that. I don't know if people are playing correctly, so it's hard to see. Like there he is, Classic Go. It's hard to see. He's hard to know. That's why I figured I'd ask you guys.
No, I think where it's at is
Boom
fine.
Kane. Yeah. Okay. What about?
I think it's at the
literally-
bottom of A.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm not. It's nowhere close to a B. I wouldn't put him at the bottom of A.
Yeah, we'll see when this
Well,
all
we'll
shakes
see.
out.
Yeah, wait, we'll see. Oh my god.
That's true. Maybe I'm just fucking repping the casters too hard here, bud, huh? Feral.
Until I've seen Rugs pump on it, I don't think I have enough information.
Oh, dude, I've seen
input
Rugs
Feral.
pump. That's what I'm saying. I actually haven't seen a
I've
lot
seen
of.
I've seen a lot of Ferals do nothing, and I've just been like, what?
Literally garbage, bro. But I know that they're good because Rugs is, go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, like, if you asked me this question before beta, I'm like, oh, for sure, Feral's going to be like SS plus in a
Like top
situation
3
like
damage,
this. Because if they're getting funneled to stereo, they're going to be amazing. And especially for overall, like, they're going to do just fine. But I didn't get a chance to play Feral very much on the beta. When I played it, I was like a scuffed raid. I was raid leading. I played horribly. And I did, middle of the pack. I didn't do, like, S plus damage Feral. Like, I was trash at it, dude. I'm not a good Feral in Wrath. Like, that meme needs to die because trust me, guys, y'all gas me up too much. I don't know. I genuinely think you could put not enough info. I didn't see
I think
any
so.
logs besides my own, which again I told you it was shit. I didn't see any other log with a Feral. I'd put it in not enough.
I saw some, and they just weren't doing too hot. And then like when we were in the 5-man and 10-man situation, you 5-man situation, you were giga blasting, and then I was like, oh shit, Feral's actually doing really well. But like some classes skill insanely well for 5 and 10 man. Like Rhett is pumping in 5-mans and 10-mans, right? So it's like it's definitely, I think, not enough info. We have not seen enough logs of really good players playing it.
Agreed.
I would say I would agree with not enough info, but I would say they're like an A. If I had to speculate blindly, which I shouldn't because I don't know what I'm talking about, I would say A.
If we're speculating blindly, yeah, maybe top of A.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
That's where I think they're gonna
Enough
sit.
info.
Unless it's like, how bad is that Omen of Clarity that big of a deal, Rugs?
Honestly, like the proc rate was a little worse than private server, and there wasn't like any type of abuse that you could do with it, like no flame
no flame
capping or
cap?
with it. No,
You
no,
can't
nothing
fairy
like that.
fire for it anymore, too, huh?
That hurts a
Yeah,
lot.
I think you couldn't fairy fire for it because your fairy fire wasn't improved, so you couldn't overwrite the boomies. So you like your use of it wasn't. I don't know. I still need to figure out more about
Yeah,
Feral.
Feral. That people are
Doesn't
saying
proc on
Feral
any
is definitely
spells,
this is
right?
definitely a spec that is harder to play for the most, which is why we're putting it not under info because we don't want to sit there and judge it based off of people learning the game. You should see I stream heroics all day long and I get Ferals in there that are doing absolutely no damage at all, and people are like, "Oh, Feral's trash," but I play it before. I know that it's harder to play, so I don't want. We don't want to like just show
Rugs
into a
was like
spot.
80% damage was like swipe or whatever.
Yeah.
He was fucking
was, like-
pumping though.
Yeah, he was pumping. He was doing so much damage. He was doing like 6k DPS every pull, and it was like literally I would look and I would 85% DPS or damage swipe. It's one ability.
Do you have you heard of the bear weaving?
I've heard of the bear weaving.
touch on it?
I've not done it myself. It makes sense in theory, and for anyone wondering, bear weaving is essentially when you dump all your energy on Cat, and you don't have something like Berserk or Tiger's Fury. If you don't have something to fish for an Omen of Clarity like a Bark Skin or a Nature's Grasp, you're essentially just going to go bear form for a moment, press Mangle, and then you go back bear. I mean Cat. You're only going bear for just a moment for you to regain energy. And then you can go back to your rotation. So in a normal situation, if you're in an AoE pack, it's like you have Savage Roar up, you dump 2 swipes, you go bear form, Mangle, go back Cat, swipe again. That's kind of the idea. It's not, I have not done it. I've legit hadn't heard of it until a couple days ago. I don't know, man. It's not enough info.
Yeah. I'm with it. Yes, this is tier 7 only for phase 1. Just kind of like overall hybrids, just kind of talking shit about them. Nothing too crazy. Don't take it to heart, gentlemen.
I'm not sure. Like for me, Ferals would be somewhere in that A, maybe like lower in it, because I had a Feral, I think it was Mecha, who has like multiple hundreds in Black Temple, very good like Feral player. He was playing it, and I was giving him Hysteria on top of it, and he was still like getting beaten by rogues and stuff. So it was it didn't seem like it was, maybe he doesn't not as familiar with Wrath of the Lich King, but it having a good Feral on it and still having him perform a little bit less than a lot of other classes, kind of like, because this is where we're starting to split hairs, right? Because a lot of the classes in the middle are very close to each other, incredibly close. But for me, I think Feral is probably somewhere in that like A tier, bottom.
Crix just accidentally
quarter.
put blood DPS in the tank and heal section.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Yes.
Crazy.
You're trolling me,
Whoa,
right?
whoa, 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 whoa! I played Blood DPS a few times on beta. It's definitely better than Boomy.
Are you trolling or not?
Better than
Are we
Boomy,
actually going to rate
worse
this?
than
Because we
Survival.
can if you're not trolling.
I'm not trolling.
Oh,
Better
well,
than Boomy,
hit
worse
it.
than
What's
Survival.
up? Where are we going? Better than
Better than
Boomy, worse
Boomy.
than Survival?
Yeah, right
What?
in the middle there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anybody want to touch on that? I thought that was okay. Go ahead.
I mean, it does all right. I did it. I was using the broken sigil the whole time, so I was
Oh,
absolutely.
you fucking troll, dog.
Oh my
absolutely
god.
pumping,
Fucking
dude.
troll, dog.
It was crazy. Like top 3 every fight.
I hate you.
I was 2
Top
overall.
3
I
out
think.
of 4.
I was number 2 overall. I think like 10k DPS opener. It's actually fucking crazy.
Fucking
but
ret,
nah.
guys.
Oh.
I think Red's
Peter.
B. Yeah, Red's
Yep,
B.
Red's the B.
Red feels good at B.
You guys feel like you guys saw a good representation of ret and the damage? and stuff?
Definitely.
Yeah. Utility or okay.
You would see like some rets like giga blasting in like 5-mans and like 10 man Naxx.
Yeah,
and
it's
you're like,
because
damn,
Seal of
this ret
Command is good cleave. Right?
Yeah.
Seal of Command is amazing damage for small packs.
small. Yeah, exactly. And then it's just until they get that 2-piece tier 10 spin to win, and they're gonna. I seriously think they shoot up to like one of the like insane S plus tier when they get that, because like overall they're unreal. Yeah, they're just.
Let's
B
stop
right now.
mentioning it and let them forget about it. I don't want to juice
Someone said B tier for bad until ICC.
I mean, I'd genuinely put Red in C if we're being honest, guys.
Yeah,
but
I would.
that's just
I
me.
would. I would potentially put Red in C right now.
They're better
realistically.
than Fury Warriors.
Yeah, above
Yeah,
Fury.
I kind of think Fury is the only C right
B
now. though.
B
Really
needs
wonder-
B needs somebody to play.
Yeah,
with,
bro,
so
come on.
we're-
Don't disrespect
Shadow
Red Paladin.
Priest.
Do not disrespect Red Paladins and put him with
I
the
think Shadow
Furies.
Priest is
I'm going A, I
upper
think.
A. Upper A.
Yeah. More than Boomy.
Definitely not more than survival. No way, Shadow.
I wouldn't say more than Destro either. So I would say above Boomy.
I would do above Boomy.
A? No way?
I
That
mean,
means A,
our
A,
Shadow
yeah,
Priest
A,
was
bro, what?
fucking pumping,
Yeah, bro,
dude.
they're
Shadow Priest is
slapping.
really well.
Wait, are you saying no because you think it should be S tier, or no because you think it should be B tier? A+ is their dots properly hasted. Yeah, we did mention that earlier. Is that VT and DP are not, and we're accounting for that here. They are not getting affected by haste.
They're top of A if that shit gets fixed.
This is built. This is built pretending that all the bugs for the classes were fixed.
They put them at top of A.
They're also like really good with dispelling, which survival hunters can't do. And
yes, they can.
Frenzy.
you can offensive dispel. You can't friendly dispel.
Yeah.
And they
way more.
They have. I mean, that's out.
They have replenishment. They have spell hit. They have
way more
him,
dispersion.
I want to do that, bro. I want to do that.
I just want survival to be above Destro anyways, so it doesn't matter, dude.
I want to.
You've already given up the fight. You're like, if they're not gonna do this, they're not gonna do any of it.
I think so. Shadow Priest overall, like in terms of their AOE, is phenomenal.
Yeah, I like it.
It's actually crazy. Yeah, AOE is very good. The single thought is great too. The single thought is already good on the beta with DP and VT being fucked up.
To be fair, the person who we've been playing Shadow Priest with is like fucking amazing, and so
yeah, he's the only one I've seen do as well.
And
I've seen a lot of other locks.
I've seen a handful of them do great.
He's doing his class proud right now, so
he genuinely did more overall than Frosty Case. Every single Frosty K in the raid, there were 3 of them. He did more than all of them overall.
Yeah, he's
very.
Except for the one came after Patchwork.
We're not building this with the casuals that are going to play it, how good they're going to play it. We're building it with how you're expecting you to play it correctly, right? The argument of I've only seen one Shadow Priest doing good. That's where I'm putting the benchmark of Shadow Priest.
He is the argument. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go.
Bottom of this.
Number 1 DPS.
Good job, Apep.
Pummel. We know.
Apep, they should give you a flare in the Priest Discord for this.
Next.
You're like he's doing his class proud. He got him A tier,
bro.
Like, well, that's what the fuck is he proud
about?
Spell Hance. Are we going S? Or
bro,
yes, absolutely S+.
S+ guaranteed.
Absolutely. I think we agree on. Can we agree on that one, bro? Are we all in agreement here?
Holy shit!
Yes.
No, we're calling it Spell Hance because that's what it is. If it was enhanced, it'd be
throw
fucking
them,
down here.
Throw them higher, dude.
Bro, you put them at number 1.
Yeah, they are unreal right now.
They're number 1.
Okay.
They will do more than an Unholy DK.
I agree. No, I agree with you.
Yep, they are the gods right now.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with this.
Although throw that Unholy again in front of that demo lock.
We need a rest.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Come on, man.
Sart's gonna DM me after. Fuck your warlocks, dude. Anyone to talk about Spell Hance? Spell Hance is amazing. Shout out Just Euro, who literally plays. He's like 17 of these goddamn things on the beta right now.
Yeah. So what Deonce is saying is really key to know is they will get target cap like locks. So we'll see. I am with you there. He says they'll do less than Unholy as well, but they're performing so well right now.
Well, shit's just gonna die really fast. So,
true.
Because of them.
I think
they're like the first ones to get that
AoE.
They got to press one button, and all of a sudden they're starting their AoE. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bursty AoE. It's good. It's not like a damage over time AoE. It's bursty. It's really solid, reliable. They're mobile. They bring so many buffs to the raid.
6 or 8 second cooldown.
Movement. They're fast, bro. They can move on AF fast as shit. They're never lagging behind.
Why?
Nobody's like
Why
6
is it
seconds
called
with glyph.
Spell Hance? Isn't it just
because they're using half your shit as spell power?
But that's just the way Enhance works nowadays.
No, it
Like,
doesn't.
Well, no,
only
early
because
on,
of the spell.
your
When
main
you guys
weapon is
switch
spell
with ARP,
damage.
you switch back to full enhance. You're not using the spell power on it.
they go full Enhance later in the.
When they get ARP.
It's the same spec.
You just change the flame tongue and
Glyphs
stuff like that.
and
Weapon.
flame tongue. Your main
I
weapon.
think it's just Enhance, and you guys.
cloak
I
and
will never
trinket
not call this spell hance.
ring.
Alright, well, whatever.
Spell Hance is short for spell power enhancement.
Yeah.
I get that, but it's just like okay. So then why don't you call fucking prop paladins? Now you call them strength prop paladins because they don't scale off spell power as much as they do
Because spell
strength
power
now.
paladins don't exist anymore.
Yeah, there's
But
two
regular
different players.
enhancement does.
Do they?
I don't make
like,
the rules, Joardee.
Is anybody gonna be doing that?
It's like
If this
kebab
is-
spec, you know. It's like
All right.
you know, some people
All
are like, "Oh, I'm
I tried.
slam, I'm normal arms, I'm kebab."
All right, so now we're gonna let the only person here who knows about spell hands talk about it. Rugs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, they just have a shit ton of damage. It's really reliable. They're mobile, and all the buffs that they bring with 10% attack power. If you need it, improved Wind Fury Totem. If you need it, enhancing totems. They have Bloodlust. They are just absolutely amazing. Phase 1, they're incredible.
Yeah,
What about
like the totem is stronger than your DK buffs, right? Like, and then they've got Wind Fury if you don't have DK buffs, but that doesn't really matter. The Bloodlust, you need someone for Bloodlust, which is huge. They have so much mobility and constant AoE that's really fast and bursty, which is absolutely amazing for overall, but they also have really, really solid single target DPS. It's crazy. And they also have like big CDs like Ghost Wolves, and they get like a little sprint, which if anyone's realizes like the importance of mobility and like speed in raids is like huge. I don't know. I'm really excited about this. I fucking blown away by how amazing.
Have you tried to play it? Are you gonna try to play it?
Yeah, I set it up last night because I was gonna work on a video about it.
There you go.
Yo,
Dog. There you go.
What about Heal Hands? Heal Hands probably has got to fit in here somewhere.
I want a new icon for regular enhance,
Yeah.
spell hands, and heal hands, please. If this is what we're doing.
Put like a fire. I don't know. Yeah. What
Yeah,
about,
heal ret.
Yeah.
What about what about? I might be out of left field here, but what
We
about?
might be done with the
Elemental
conversation
Shaman, bro?
by the time Classic comes out.
Where do you guys? What about Ellie?
Good question. I don't have enough information. I've heard good things. I know they don't scale super well later.
People
We're
tell me they
only
do
talking
well in
about phase
10 man.
one,
I
bro.
don't
We're
know.
talking about phase one only.
What
First
about
off,
25? Like that's the only thing that matters. How I
the
don't
same
have enough
utility as
information.
enhance. First off, so let's remember that. Same exact utilities you enhance. A little bit less damage.
I think they're
They have
probably
less single target and less AoE than
low
enhance.
A. I
I
they're
think
low A.
yeah.
The problem is they should be like higher than survival, but I'm
think
kind of with
they're
Sarthe. Like I've seen Ellie do awesome
Yeah.
phase one,
Right there.
awesome in P server, but like I'm not seeing it on the beta right now. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's the people that are playing it or something, but like Ellie's doing really bad right now. And
The
guys,
one
you
thing
gotta
about
I saw a pre-fox
Is Ellie-
Naxx,
Ellie
and he
even
was carrying pretty
difficult?
goddamn hard.
it's not difficult.
No, it's not difficult.
It's like-
it's like-
It's so easy.
4 buttons.
The one
I
thing
just
about
gotta
Ellie
say
is you'll
survival is
often have
pumping
one.
and you guys are all sleepers. It's just Marksman is pumping harder.
Where are we putting this? Where
I
are
think
we
you put
agreeing
it
on this?
beneath Boomy.
Yeah, I'd put him in B honestly, but I know that they can
B?
do well. Yeah, man.
Like damn near not enough
We
info
do
type
need
shit?
to have some
It's the
people
Ellie
in B.
Shaman's fault for not representing one.
Wait,
So
if they're in B,
almost
then
none
we
of them.
have to move Red down to C.
Damn.
Dude,
I
just put
think
him in not enough
low,
info.
Low A.
Put him above Ret and B.
Like I think the value of an elemental shaman just goes down because the other classes that kind of do what they do, like you're gonna bring an enhancement, right? You're
Do it
already covering
better,
those
yeah.
buffs. That's the problem, is their value definitely goes down because their damage. It's one of those things where like if they don't do enough damage compared to the other spec that brings the same stuff as them, then it lowers their value, sadly. And that's the only reason I
Yeah.
would say, like, DPS wise, they're probably up there, but in terms of all the stuff they could bring,
Like, do you
it's so
need
just
them?
overlap,
Yeah.
right? By classes
Something
that
does it
actually do well
better.
still. Because like doesn't like demonology bring like just a scaling version of what they do with like spell power or something,
Flame
and
tongue
they don't
weapon.
stack or
Yeah,
something?
they don't stack.
Yes.
The DP's more, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know how in TBC in parses, like a feral druid has like this bar where like the average is, and then the outlier is like a mile away from the bar because the feral druid DPS players who are true DPS are like pumping. It's gonna be really similar with elemental because most of the people playing elemental are just gonna be your off-spec restos anyway.
Yep.
The vast majority of that average will
Yeah.
be occupied by off-spec people, not your pure Ellies. And so there will be like a skill gap or just like a one-trick gap. The people who have the pure Ellie gear set up and pumping and bringing that
Sure.
average or like being the outliers. So we're gonna see a lot of that, which will genuinely like affects a list like this.
Oh, you can call me Cope, but there's no fucking way I'm putting Ellie on the same tier as a Ret Paladin. Ellie will stomp a Ret Paladin overall.
I think Rhett has
Mud
to, has
stomp
to
a fucking Red Paladin overall.
I literally love Rhett. It's like my main Rogue and Rhett and DK are my mains throughout all of World of Warcraft. All of it. I just obviously early Rhett in this tier is just Sag. I would put Ellie in B and move the Rhett down, I guess, but that's
Yeah, but then you got Ret
Skewed.
versus Fury.
Rhett's way stronger than Fury, obviously.
Exactly.
But again,
To put
Is
this does not do. You're disrespecting
Our,
Red Paladins at
our
this point,
Fury
bro.
Warriors,
Ellie-
Fury Warriors are so good at figuring out how to be good at the game.
And
Yeah,
that's
like,
why I'm
Ellie
sitting here
to
going,
the
dude.
left of Red.
I don't know, man. Ever since Fury's been placed down there, I'm sitting here like, dude, this is a disaster waiting to happen. Like,
Oh yeah, dude.
they-
Fight Cup's
you're
already
just- you're-
screenshotting this,
you're-
fucking
you're-
making
you're
memes and shit.
fueling them.
Yeah.
You're only making them stronger.
And they're gonna figure it out, though. That's the
No,
thing.
they're
like,
not. No,
betting
tier 7,
against-
they're not. These are not doing anything. They
Yeah.
can't figure anything out. What are they gonna do?
I mean, yeah, they're still you're gonna be
fuck?
C, yeah, probably, yeah, but I'm saying like they're gonna test everything possible. It's
Hey,
gonna
you
be
can test
interesting.
it all you want.
But I don't think Ellie's the same tier as everything else.
So we want to do this
I would literally do more damage as a Blood DK than an Ellie.
with your sigil. Are we? So this is what we're doing. I think
Do
this
that.
is A
Do
minus.
that.
I'm fine
That's
with that.
fine.
I feel like it's
That's
A minus personally, but there's no proof of it. I just feel like Ellie was just really underrepresented, almost to the point where it should be not enough info because I saw Prefox in a normal raid and he was in the template gear or whatever, and he was fucking pumping.
in a 10
bro.
man.
He was clapping. He was doing great. But I haven't seen anybody else do anything to Ellie, so it's like maybe it's just me going with my
Was
heart.
he
But
in
I
a
feel
good
like
raid?
it's all right.
Was he with good players? Because like I can make Fury Warrior look good with bad players around me.
Prefox was number 3 in his raid, number 3, and he was
As-
pumping, right?
as
And then,
Ellie?
but if you looked, no, on
Fury.
Fury Warrior, but then if you looked at like the damage numbers, were skewed like 1,000 DPS from all of the top like 8 people below like a very pumper raid that we were seeing, right?
Yeah.
So that does matter a lot.
I mean, I'll put it there for you guys, bro, but that hurts, bro. I feel like they're there, bro. Maybe it's just I've been playing Ellie for the past few days, so maybe I'm just super coped out. But I feel like it's a little bit
Ellie-
slept on damage, and people just aren't playing it because of spell hands. They're hearing
Ellie is
spell hands,
deceptive.
and they're saying fuck Ellie, but I think it's just underrepresented. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
hey, I could
it's
be
like
coped
a-
out, bro. I don't know.
It's like two-handed DK.
I tried
It's,
Ellie's, bro. They
unholy.
fucking got me, bro. I tried to help you. I tried, bro. Okay. Yada yada. Stab, poke, ass.
Assassination? Oh god.
Stab, poke.
I think my personal opinion is that assassination and combat are both S plus S tier.
You guys are so faded. Ellie is not that bad at fucking AoE. Are you drunk? You guys don't even know what you're talking about right now. I'm not even going to entertain that. Okay, what are you saying?
Yeah.
You guys literally don't know what you're talking about right now.
I
Where's
Stop
the
that
story?
boy.
So I agree with Zirene. I think rogues are really good. They're kind of like your classes that of the melee, I'm kind of more comfortable stacking a couple of them over anything else. Maybe you take like one Unholy, one Frost, and then 2 or 3 rogues. Like they're really valuable. That Tricks of the Trade is irreplaceable. It's a unique buff. It's a unique external, and their damage is absolute ridiculous. Single target, they are like king.
should
Maybe
be,
not
yeah.
like number 1, but they can compete for number 1 on pretty much every single fight in the entire game right now in tier 7. And combat, I think, is slept on. I genuinely only have 1 log from beta with a good combat rogue that was actually doing well. But I think combat is super slept on, should do more than assassination overall. But either way, like I feel like the two go hand in hand, like Zirene said. I think to me, they're probably like bottom of S plus tier. Something like that.
Both
is
of
probably
them
where I'd
bottom
put
of
them.
S plus.
Okay,
I think so.
Yeah, so for me, I think that the assassination on like bosses obviously is better, like you were saying. As a rogue, I'm probably gonna have both specs, right? And then like just change it over for bosses because I think combat on trash is just disgusting. So yeah.
Did you say combat above? Oh, whoops! Fucking get the fuck
Real
out of
quick,
here.
I
Get the
gotta
fuck
go.
out of here.
Okay,
My
we're
mom
almost
is
done.
here. I gotta go.
I love you, Joardee.
guys. Thank you so much
Love
for
you,
having me.
Joardee.
Dude,
Love you.
It's good
a
talking to you,
pleasure.
Zirene.
It's just the mages
Everybody else,
left. You're
I'll
good.
see you guys soon.
anytime, man. Hit me up.
Yeah. Good night, dudes.
Yeah, fuck sub. We're just
Yep.
not enough info and be nice unless we really want
Later,
to show
everybody.
that right away.
I'm gonna. I don't know.
sub is-
Fuck this
sub is-
Discord call
is
if I
out.
leave it. So. Good
Oh
luck.
no.
Yeah, sure. Not enough info for it.
Okay, bye.
I would like to put not enough info, but do we need? The question is, do we need more info on sub? Can we just?
No.
We do. No,
Yeah?
we do. I think sub could do some sneaky stuff here.
Okay.
They have some interesting cooldowns that work in a PvE environment,
Oh.
but we just haven't seen it. Like I bet you there's probably legit 0 logs from beta of people doing sub and Naxx, so we just don't know.
Yeah,
Cool.
I haven't. I personally like. I'm a rogue lover. I haven't seen enough rogue information. Simon was testing out this Phantom Knives build that was fucking crazy.
I mean, is that a
was-
subtlety exclusive thing?
No, that was just in general. I'm just talking about like because I was quiet during the whole rogue part. I think rogues are so sick. But I've seen a lot of rogues underperform, and I've seen I wish I had more information on rogues. You know, that Phantom Knives build was super fucking clutch. Like I love it. I love the testing and the theory crafting. I think it might be insane for overall. And then obviously their single target is crazy.
Man,
I might push though for like the fact that I think FrostDK can. I think that FrostDK can be just ridiculous as we move faster through the raids. I think so. We'll see. Yeah, Phantom Knives. A lot of the damage though is from your Phantom Knives procs poisons.
Yes, and it's not AoE capped because of that.
Yeah.
So it's pseudo un-AoE capped because you can proc off of tiny hits too.
Yeah.
So you could Phantom Knives 100 mobs and poisons can proc off that, and it doesn't affect the poison damage.
Yeah.
Also, I think Simon Ives was messing around with Rod of the Sun King, and it was proccing off Phantom Knives, so he's getting infinite energy.
That's what it was. I heard like literally I had to leave before he swapped to Rod of the Sun King, and it was just that if that works, oh my god.
Yeah. And Sarthe, you mentioned like FrostDK is doing really well. I think I just want to throw it out there, like sometimes Frost can like absolutely miss on a trash pack. Sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. If you don't have a killing machine with Howling Blast available, it's pretty weak. And meanwhile, like rogues should do well, but pretty much
I think
every
they run
trash pack.
Straight up. I'm telling you right now, this isn't like usually ran. I think for overall, FrostDK runs Death Chill. It's a 2-minute. You instantly get a crit. Like it's a free killing machine, and if you use it well on like a big small pack, like it'll be up for your next big small pack for your very first Howling Blast to crit on everything. That'll be fucking epic. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, people explain it's actually he was using Storm Shroud armor, which is 2% chance on melee attack of restoring 30 energy, is the 3-piece set, some like level 50.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So 3 pieces of that. Slap a Sun King on, or slap it on your offhand or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I would for some reason I would want to drop one of the rogues to S from S plus, but I'm
really?
fine with it. But I just feel like I haven't had. I
We're
personally haven't had enough
For
information.
me, like Rogue is one of my top 3 DPS classes. I actually have it like above Unholy, because I feel like people are like really up good on Unholy, not just because of the sigil, but because Death Runes too. So I'm just like, they're getting extra damage that they shouldn't be getting. And when I compare like Rogue logs to Unholy logs, and I like try to subtract that damage the best I can, is just Rogues just beat them on overall. But that's what I see.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
only
there's
tier
room to,
7
like,
for those like just only for phase 1. Yeah.
I do think there is a point to be made though. Like you could probably bring combat down to the top of S. I feel like S plus is getting a little crowded, and just to like make a little differentiation between the two, like you could probably do that. But the class kind of goes hand in hand. It's like y'all were saying, you're gonna like respec for bosses and stuff if you can manage it.
Okay, so Frost Mage, before anybody tries to flame it, I'm gonna put it not enough info because everybody shit talks it. Frost Mage is not nearly as bad as everybody fucking says it is. You guys just aren't seeing a good one in there or any of them in there because they're all going Arcane and Fire.
Yeah, how much worse than Arcane is it?
I don't know. Nobody played it. I have no idea. I'm putting it. That's why I'm putting it not enough info because nobody fucking played it. I'm gonna play on the next round. But yeah,
Frost Mage is the best confirmed, dude.
I think if I remember, Philippe, I was talking to the mage guy and it was about 8. I think they said 800 DPS lower than Arcane.
Yeah.
With Frost Firebolt being, I could be wrong. Correct me here. Oh, Esquire would know. 200 DPS lower than Arcane for the fire spec. Mage in here can say big brain on that. But I'm not. I'm leaving it here regardless of what anybody says because everybody shit talks Frost. I just think people haven't been playing it in raid.
Well, back in original Wrath of the Lich King, Frost Mages were awesome.
Let's see what I'm thinking. Esquire has something to say.
Esquire knows. Throw it out there.
Esquire
I'm kind of with you though.
Yeah,
I think Frost Mage is definitely slept on, and there's just not enough info.
But we do have enough
Is
info
it better
about
than
fire.
Fury Warrior?
Yes, 100%. If I would say it's A tier. I'm saying it's A tier. Bottom A. Frost is probably. I mean,
I'm not part of this list. I don't associate with this list at all.
I'm saying not enough info.
Yeah,
Yo,
what the heck?
Not my list.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Sure, I have no basis. I don't know.
Exactly.
You're right.
Nobody
All right,
fucking knows. That's why I thought not enough info.
Blood DPS should go there, not Frost.
Blood TK, shut the fuck up about the bloody Fire Mage, which we can bundle
Why
up
do we
fire.
let Crix be in charge of this? Yeah.
Let's bundle up Fire and Frostfire Bolt into the same thing. Or yeah, I
Fire
mean,
Mage
'cause they're the
definitely
same thing. Yeah,
not
Frost-
performing well.
Phase 1
on
is what the fuck are
Fire
you talking
Mage
about?
in 25 man. Did you not?
200 DPS less than Arcane. Like not even. I think it's 100 DPS if I remember correctly.
B tier, bro. What?
Frostfire Bolt is B tier. You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I would say above Ret though. Yeah. I would say above Ret and
above
Ellie
Ret.
maybe. I would say above Ret and Ellie.
Trash
They got
dies
good
too
A-
fast
they
for
have
them to
good
ramp
AoE.
up, right? Trash dies too fast for them to
you're
ramp,
getting
ramp up.
12 seconds.
Their single target is
Living bomb, Sag.
Yeah, I mean, if things lived for like a long time, they would be fucking amazing. They would be amazing. But it doesn't. Like things don't live nearly long enough for them to stack up. And then
Fire,
later
you're sleeping
they
on
obviously
Firestarter.
scale. They scale insanely, but they're obviously going to be nutty later,
Right.
late game. But right now, it's just like we've seen really good, like ran with like Felipe, Criteria, right? Ran with really, really, really good mages, some of the world's best mages, and I'm pretty sure Fire is B tier.
I will say, Fire is in a really bad place with the template gear. And
Yes.
if you
Mage
if
in
you
general is in a horrible place, more than almost all the other classes with the template gear. They're missing so
Fire
much
even
mana,
more
4K
so.
mana or something. 4 or 5K
Arcane
mana. they're
doesn't
missing.
require nearly as much hit as Fire.
It's not about the hit. It's about the fucking mana pool. Especially for Arcane.
Fair.
They're using Arcane Barrage to dump because they're getting shit procs on their fucking AMs. You know what I mean?
Just
Which
saying,
I guess
with
we
like
can talk about why we're here too.
What about
with
Espar's
early
full
gear,
pre-bis
Fire's
gear?
like, yeah, exactly. So like Fire early is going to be, you know, somewhere like where we're putting it here on this list, but they jump up a lot just within this same exact phase and this same tier, just with more gear. I'm telling you, Fire does a lot better with just a little bit of gear.
I think it's higher than B, but I'll let you guys say B. I tried Arcane.
That's
It's an A tier, I think. I don't know.
just dropped it in S plus.
I was gonna say S plus S, at least S. Mid A, it's S tier as fuck. You're trolling right now. Have you not seen the mages in our raid?
It's ahead of
With
Shadow
template
Priest, I
gear,
think.
missing 5K mana. You're drunk.
Top of A tier.
You're fucking
Give it to
faded,
him.
bro. What?
I don't know.
I think top of A.
Krat, what do you think? Krat's here. What do
There's
you?
mages in
I-
chat,
it
bro.
could be
You're
S.
gonna ask a
Everyone's
mage what they
saying
think,
S.
bro. You know what they're gonna say. They're gonna say A S triple plus.
It could be bottom of S. They could be bottom of S.
S, but not S plus. Mage is trash on beta. S tier. You know, if you think mage is trash on beta, your mages are trash when you were in your raid on beta. Period. Point blank.
They're definitely not S plus.
Yeah, you guys are disrespecting the casters in a,
I was
in
gonna
a
say they're
weird
top
way
of
right
A or
now,
bottom
bro.
of
In a
S.
weird way.
They're very solid. They're very solid, and they will be really, really good as long as they get gear also too.
Template gear. Remember,
You're right.
I've seen our mages when we're in our runs full of 25 people pumping, right? Or for more or less pumping, and template gear
Right.
with the absolute worst mana pool in the world using fucking Arcane Barrage. Rugs, how much do you see them use Arcane Barrage in private servers just because they can't get a proc to dump their mana? And they're still fucking up there. AoE, yeah,
Right.
whatever. You know, I can't, you know, I guess on the overall, that's where it's probably why it's not an S plus, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're
they're-
fighting. Yeah, they're
their
fighting.
AoE's kinda
Yeah,
ass.
everyone is in shitty gear, but mages do a lot of scaling with gear.
Well, everyone's in shitty gear, but the mages got the worst out of all of them, I think. I can't talk. I guess out of the casters, I can't talk for the melee, but out of all the casters, warlocks were. I mean, it was shitty, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the mages because they need their mana, bro. Arcane specifically needs their mana more than anything. They're wasting their procs on. They're wasting their pumps. They're dumping on Arcane Barrage, bro. Like I know you don't know what that means because you don't play mage. It's a fucking shitty thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think with even pre-bis gear, if we try to look at this, which is hard to do, if you try to look at it like everybody in pre-bis gear, which obviously we'll be able to do this again when it comes time to it and look back at this and see how we speculated. But there, I think I bottom S plus if they had the right gear. I think so.
I think you're right, actually. I think my first take was probably a little cooked. I went back and looked at my other monitor at some logs, and good Arcane Mage with like an Innervate or potentially like a Mana Tide Totem or something, like, yeah, they will do more overall than a lot of these classes. Yeah, it's probably higher on S than even where you have it right now.
Yes, and remember, mage They're AoE, they're AEing because they can't blizzard because everything's getting moved out of the spot. They're just blinking, enrage, and being able to AoE right there, AoE. Why you guys are just holding W the whole fucking time?
Bro, extend those
everybody's
slugs.
getting cleave and everybody's getting cleaved down. Warlocks are in the back trying to get a fucking seed op, but we can't because we have to stop moving. I can't do Hurricane with my Boomy because you guys keep moving all the time. Starfall's on cooldown. Mages are right there. A.
That's
You know
still
what I mean?
Krat doing less DPS than me on Feral or on Marksman though.
This is a
but
different
look,
log.
bro, look, it's literally after
I know,
Marksman.
but, like-
Look. I
But
put
this,
Marksman
oh,
first.
is this 10 man or is this 25?
That's
25.
25.
Yeah, okay, but yeah. But that's like but that like on overall is still less, right? And I missed out on Thaddeus because I missed the jump twice because I'm a fucking bot, right? And that's still like 140 DPS less.
Okay, well, not
like
all
150
overall logs are created equal.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
I
some,
know,
And
I
also,
know.
you have to
gear and
remember,
more-
some people
more
are
trash.
some people are not paying attention the whole time. Just because you were doesn't mean we were or Krat was.
You're
Krat's
telling me
streaming, you
Krat's
don't know-
not paying attention the whole time?
You never know. You never know what they're doing. We don't know if he died on something. You know what I mean? We can't use one
Krat's a
raid
fucking
and go,
great
oh,
player.
that one.
You're right.
Yeah, but you are too, and you missed the jump, nigga. What the fuck?
You're actually right. They might be
What are you
better
talking
than we
about?
think
People
they
fuck
are
up.
because Mage players get super bored pressing 2 buttons that they just check out for the rest of the raid. So we can't actually use any of the data at all, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But no, I do think that mages actually, like, they bring a buff. Arcane mages bring a buff that 2 other classes we have much lower on the list bring, right? Rep paladins, and then BM hunters. Or sorry, no, BM hunters and rep paladins. Yeah. So you're gonna bring an arcane mage no matter what. So eventually we will see exactly where they sit. And I think that they're pretty good. I think they're really good. They bring some really nice things to the raid. So I think I would put him above Hunter. Just to
Criteria
tilt
said he had
Sarthe more.
COVID during the entire raid test
God
as well.
damn, I
And I
cannot
was sick
wait.
as fuck too, and I remember
I
how
cannot wait till we
everybody
go back
remembers
in
me
here.
being sick
Oh,
as
God.
fuck during the raid testing, and I was miserable as shit, throwing up mid fucking boss, bro. So, and that's just saying. And Criteria said he had COVID the whole time. So, using that little bit of raid testing, I feel like it's good to get an overall number on it. But look at all the bugs and shit that were happening. Like, we need another round of raid testing, and then we can do it again and be like, oh, okay, well, Arcane Mage was worse than it was, or it was better than it was, or Ellie actually was doing good, like I think it will.
I think, yeah, maybe I'm biased. I think Hunter is gonna surprise people, and I think Unholy is gonna surprise people.
I don't think it will because it already did. Like, it's here. It's S tier.
Yeah,
It's S
right.
plus. Look at this. How's that surprising anybody? We already here. It's here.
Well, no. Just like if people think other classes will beat him, or it'll be more weak without the sigil, because a lot of tests without the sigil. It's just the Death Rune thing does skew. But yeah, I think
I don't even like.
I think when we see a really good Hunter, I think it's gonna be crazy. I really want to go into the raid again. We need to go again.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking, yeah.
That's like
Oh, yeah.
a huge take from this is like there's realistic. We're all basing it off of early information, and we need to see the raids more.
And
Right?
shit
We
gear.
need to go again.
Yeah, and shit gear. And also
Yeah.
know, like, a lot of these logs are, I'll use Copium example. Look at our logs with him in it. He's in full fucking heroic kitted gear. Or whoever's in who there's people in the raid like
Yeah,
Spoon,
there's a
like
couple
Spoon
people
in
full-
full fucking gear.
Spoon
Meanwhile,
full gear,
Sarthe and me
Copium
and
full
every-
gear,
Yeah,
and then I'm the
exactly.
only person below them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So there's
I'm
that
right
to look
below.
into as well too. So I think that's why
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is during the time from now to the next beta opening, I want all my casters geared up so I can just go in there with them all geared. So get out of that template gear and see what it feels like to have gear in it. You know what I mean?
And I also ran the wrong I had explosive shock glyph still the whole time. I was fucking so annoyed because I was supposed to go survival and then switch.
So you
right
see
before
how
we went.
that's what I mean when I said we can't look at one log. Everybody's making mistakes. Everybody's trying to figure out what's the best for their class because shit is bugged and what's not. You know what I mean? So this is a very bad judgment. We can't just use that one, these things. That's why we need more testing.
I think we're gonna see Hunter do like 4.6k on overall. and
I
a
think
really
when
good
Hunter
run.
min-maxers get it, they're gonna be fucking shoo,
Yeah.
doing some dams, doing some
Spoon
deep,
did,
deep
yes.
dams.
Spoon did highly illegal sigil.
Yeah, but Spoon also did raids without being highly legal, and he was still hard carrying. But he's also the most geared DK on like the server or some shit. He's like the first 80. Like, dude, he's like super fucking gaming. Pressing
And
the right
all
buttons.
these saying, yeah, as fights get shorter, yeah, Arcane even blasts. Arcane gets stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, I could Fury. I was not gonna be S tier, S plus. Yeah, but I could see everything, literally everything going up. I'm not saying that. Well, this is all speculation. None of us play all of this shit. We're just
So
trying.
is this at, like the beginning of the phase? Are we talking like end of phase, like what the meter's gonna look like?
I have no clue at this point.
We just said phase
Tiers.
one.
Yeah, phase
We
one.
just said- yeah. That's a
Phase
good.
one.
All
No,
right, redo the whole thing.
Shit.
God.
God damn it.
I don't know. I'm probably in the minority here, but I think Fury Warriors are better than our perception of them.
What do you think?
I-
Do you think? What do you think? What do you think on Fury versus Ret?
I think they're slightly better with
You think
gear.
Fury's better than Ret?
I think when you're completely geared, because Fury's the best scaling class in the game with gear, right? Like, they
Fire
use every
Mage,
I would
statistic.
agree with that because I think in Old War,
Or just how
Fury's
Warriors work,
already
right?
going to start going up. I don't think
Oh,
Fury's
yeah,
going to be.
I think
I
so
don't think
too,
they're going to
yeah.
be garbage until like what did they say TOGC or some shit? Nah, I
Nah,
think it's
Old
going
War,
to
they
be
get strong.
Phase 1 Biss. They're already here, and then maybe even more than that, right? But it's I don't know. It's speculation. I have no fucking idea. I don't play a Warrior.
I'm not necessarily mad about it. I think it's going to be an issue. I think Fury is definitely. I think the players that we have will showcase the class in a way. The only thing I think that's obviously like negative for Fury is that DKs just do what they do but better. That's like in Furies are consistent at always. They never have to drink. They never have to stop. You can always press W. They're so solid always, right? You bring like the Sunders obviously because you don't want to have your rogues doing that, especially on trash. You can throw Sunders up on trash, which adds up for your raid a lot. Furies bring a lot of utility. They're fucking very solid. And the players that play Fury Warrior are some of the best players in the world. It's just like what it is. They will go ham to figure it out. So I'm excited.
Said up arrow to S. We know it's really good, and that's about where we feel like it would be, but there just wasn't enough. There just wasn't enough of these to go around. This is bugged out. I don't think
have enough
BM's
info,
going to
yeah.
be much better, but nobody knows. So it's like we just never saw most of this in here. Feral's one of those things where yes, there was a lot of Feral in there, but like were they playing right? You know what I mean?
Should
Yeah.
probably take all the things in tank heals and just keep them down at the bottom and remove that because people are going to think that that's the order of the tanks and the healers.
We are done, but since you can order this if you want. What do you think? You're the tank guy. What do you guys think an order for the tank would be? Right over
Oh
here?
my god, have fun.
Hey,
no.
just a little secret extra for you guys. Come on, Zirene, you're on the spot. Where are you going with the tanks here, Doug?
In terms of what? Because there's so many different things for tanks.
Damage, please. Only damage.
In
You wanna do
only damage?
Yeah, let's do damage.
Just keep it simple.
Let's do damage.
Just
Yeah, that's a good
In
call.
terms of
Rugs.
damage, it's Prop Paladin number 1.
Okay.
Prop Paladin is number 1.
Feral Druid or Warrior?
Warriors.
Warrior, I
think
would
it's
say.
Warrior,
Warriors.
Feral, and then Blood
Okay.
in that order.
Blood by like a mile.
Blood does like nothing, sadly. Blood makes the mobs as useless as you are. Like they don't do damage to you, but you don't do anything either. Like it's so stupid.
Yep.
You're actually just the meat wall. So yeah, that's below Feral.
Yeah, but it has
See?
hysteria.
But it has hysteria.
Crit buff.
Crit buff is big. I guess trauma debuff.
Swapping the cat.
Yeah.
Big DPS.
I think that there's
Because
more
Bear would
damage.
just swap the cat with DPS, right?
Bears so much more damage. Yeah, Blood just
yeah.
does not do much damage.
Nothing. Yep.
Healers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's healers. You can rank. I mean, Holy Paladins, Priest, Resto Druids.
Hey, I think you literally just move. You move Holy Priest
I'll probably say
where
right here.
to the middle,
3 or 4.
and then it's 3.
Yeah,
They're in
3.
Resto Druid. I love Resto Druid though. Well, they kind of interfere
So
with the
fun.
disc.
Resto Druids
Yeah,
out
Resto
here
Druid's
having
my
a good
favorite healer.
time.
Yeah, they really.
Yeah,
they-
they're fun.
I would say
Restos
these
add
are interchangeable.
damage,
I would
but-
say Paladin first,
Yeah.
Disc 2, 3, and 4. These are interchangeable maybe, and then Resto Shaman's right behind them. But don't fucking look at Resto Shaman like it's garbage. These are all fucking amazing healers right now. I think the point of today was Joardee was saying that Holy was much better than what they thought it was going to be when they were in the tier 7, which Rug said actually. If you recall the last time we did a tier list, he said Holy's going to be a little bit of a sleeper. Woo! That was fun, boys.
Holy shit!
Holy shit! Can't wait to read the comments after this one. Huh?
Oh,
You ready for
we're
him, Sarthe?
also like just fighting over everything too, but like we just need more information. I gotta say
Yeah,
we
bro.
need more information, but this is like a very decent like how things are starting, right?
This was fun.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
Wait, why did you put subtlety in C?
Oh shit, my bad. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be here. It's supposed to be not enough.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Wow.
Wait, hey, wait, where would it be? Actually, now that I think about it.
Ruggs is over here and he's like, "There's something below Fury Warrior." This isn't right.
No.
I can't. I can't believe you guys got me and Zirene on the same call.
Well, you know what's funny is when I didn't know he was playing Prot Warrior and Joardee was like, yo, get Zirene. I was like looking him up and just like due diligence. I was like, oh, he plays Prot Warrior. I was like, getting him right away. Fuck yeah. Come on, you gotta go. And I was hoping that when I was like, Ruggs is on here that he didn't go, fuck Ruggs, I'm not coming.
No.
I
wish
know,
I
I'm
had
trolling you,
IRL.
though.
I don't really dislike or hate anybody. No. I'm always down.
That was a fucking fun one, boys. This is my favorite episode right here, probably.
That was a lot of fun.
There's the
You don't
thumb-
need to screenshot the tank and heal section.
God,
It's
don't
also
remind me.
ordered by damage.
Don't remind me.
Yeah,
Well-
that was fun. Someone just linked a log of a 40-second fight where Farrell's pumping.
40.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of hysteria uptime. You get it twice.
Yeah, right. It's
Come
just,
on, man.
it can be, yeah, exactly. So things are like so skewed. You need, yeah. It's
I'm
I'm excited.
I want to do another
I'm
one of
excited.
these the next episode, but we'll probably keep it directly related to speedrunning, just to kind of keep them super separate. You know what I mean? Other than that, boys, I think we're done.
All right.
3-hour podcast. That was a big one. I'm going back to my stream life. Here is everybody's links right here, my friend. If you guys want to follow them, don't worry about me. Just follow them. They're all there. There's Zirene. I love you. Thank you so much for coming. You're a fucking welcome
thank
every
you for that.
goddamn time, bro, if you want to fucking come. All right? I
Just
know you're leaving
invite
one
me.
podcast. If you need to come on over, baby, I'm pretty sure Sarthe don't mind, man. I'm just saying. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you in
We'll have
Snowy.
a talk.
though.
We'll have a talk.
I'm gonna miss
Yeah,
you
we
in
love having
Snowy,
you,
dog.
man.
I'm gonna miss you in Snowy. That's the fucking cozy ass podcast, bro. Yeah.
Wait a second. So wait, Ruggs. If Prot Warrior spec'd Revenge Prot, would it be above the Prot Paladin?
I can't see it.
You can't see it. Oh no.
On damage, like we're just talking damage, right?
Yeah, we're just talking damage.
I don't see it, dude. I don't see it.
Oh,
I don't
God.
think there's not enough prop paladins out there running Glyph of Holy Wrath. It's so good in Naxx. It's so good. And there's a lot more ways that you can absolutely just dumpster as a prop paladin. They're going to be like the fire underneath all the shitters at the bottom of the scroll down, like the Fury Warriors and the Reds. Like the prop paladin is right there, like pushing them the whole way. They literally, like, you're doing like 6k DPS on like every trash pack.
It's a big, you're doing lots of pulls, big pulls, and a lot of fucking undead. Ooh.
I just want to say you guys are sleeping on an elemental shaman, and you're gonna put some respect on my fucking elemental shaman name. The next
I
time you
hope
see me,
so.
okay?
I'm all like I'm all for it. I want us to get raid testing again so we can go in again with like people with realistic gear now, like getting closer to actual pre-base gear that's not like basically useless for some specs, right? I'm really excited, and then hopefully they also fix all the bugs for the classes because it's really lame going in there with that.
Yeah, I'm just a hard caster shield, boys. For those that just met me, I'm a caster player, so I'm gonna shield them the fuck out. That's my job. Ruggs, I love you. Any parting words for our fellow friends? Where can they find you? Even though I linked it, can you tell them what you do on your stream? Actually, how often do you stream? Where can they find you? What do you like to do?
Oh, dude, I mostly make YouTube videos. I'm on YouTube, RUGS on YouTube. You can find me there. I do tier lists. I do random videos. I do meme lists.
Most importantly, he does a lot of, sorry to interrupt, raid comp lists and shit like that. Like, you know, speedrunning comps, regular comps, first Naxx gear on comps, everything. So that'll stuff to help you prepare as well, which is really good.
Yeah, I try to do my best to orientate myself into the shoes of maybe like a raid leader in a lot of my discussions. So that's kind of where I reside. When I'm streaming, it's mostly like raid logging. I'm not the best at chatting. I don't have the charisma like Crix. I'm more just throwing the camera on and throwing the stream on, and I raid many times a week. And you can find me on twitch.tv/RUGSC. And boys, everyone here, I absolutely love you guys. Zirene,
Yeah.
I've been meaning to connect with you for so long. It's been an absolute pleasure, brother. Even though we butt heads about everything Warrior. And sorry.
That's all right, man. It's the thing. At the end of the day, there will be an answer to this, but being predictive is always really fun for me.
It's more fun, yeah, like theory crafting, dude.
Because I want to see why it ends up working or why it ends up failing.
Yeah.
But predicting which one of those will outweigh the other is very fun for me. So I appreciate the difference in opinion and the representation, right? Because otherwise, it's just an echo chamber on my stream, right? Where I'm just like
Exactly.
talking about this and that, where it's like, oh, these are actually good, like, etc. So I like the discussion a lot.
Good, I'm glad. We love it, bro. We love it. We feed for it. Sarthe Bubbas, I love you so much. Any parting
Dog.
words for our lovely community?
Thanks for being here, everybody. Like, Rugs, Joardee's not here anymore. Zirene, this was an amazing episode. Also getting a lot of good perspectives on everything. I really hope we get raid testing again so we can have more information. And I know this is an early tier list, but tier lists in general can never be perfect. That's like literally like my almost
but
definition.
yes, they can.
It's gonna be, no matter what, it's gonna be ripped apart. Or like if we said like one class isn't as good as some people say it is, they're gonna go through and try to make it as good, and hopefully they are, because realistically, like I want to see the highest echelon, like the best players of every class and actually competing. So hopefully we'll have some more raids putting together every one of these classes. But this was a super fun episode. Zirene, it's been a minute, so love having you on, dog. Rugs, you've been pumping everything, so we'll be playing together probably in an hour or something. So love you guys. Crix, good shit together, putting everyone together today.
I love you, my man. We'll post it tomorrow. This will be up on YouTube at like 7 in the morning. I can tell the audio's got fucked up, so I need to get off stream after. I'm gonna stream for a few more hours. I'm gonna make the audio all right, and then I'll, re-download it and send it over tonight, and we'll get it on YouTube tomorrow morning. Sound good?
Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching too.
Love you, brothers.